Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, everybody from all around the world, hello and welcome to another episode of The Worshipper with me, your host, Jean-Lucas. Let's make some noise, everybody. It's time to clap it up. Get excited wherever you are, wherever you may be. It's time to get our show on the road with the docket of conversation today, covering what a boxing and beyond with a whole host of fights coming up this weekend, as well as stuff down the line that may be unfolding in the boxing world and in the wider sports landscape of the ethos that we enjoy and love. Sports and entertainment, all with you on our show. We appreciate you tuning in on our live stream. We love that you're here joining us on this Thursday afternoon. And if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Yes, indeed. Come on, be a part of the hottest show in all of the globe, right here on YouTube and on every podcasting platform imaginable. Also, be sure to rate us 5 stars wherever you listen to podcasts. Hit the notification bell so you know whenever we post here on YouTube, you can keep up to date with every single instance of opportunity that we have to show up on our channel today and any other day of the week of our scheduled week. And please be sure to do the 2 most important things, which are, if you can support the channel, hey, we have Cash App, PayPal, links down below in the description, super chat, super gift, stickers, and the like. If you choose to support this channel, give alms to the empire. We are funded by you, the viewing and listening public, and we are made possible because of your support in any endeavor, and we appreciate it. No matter how much you can support, we appreciate it nonetheless. And the other most important thing to do, if you don't do anything else on this show, please just be sure to leave a like on the stream. One like makes a world of difference, and share the show with everybody that you know, so we can keep on building up this empire together, all with you as the backbone of our community. And we thank you so much for coming in. We thank you so much for tuning in. We got the likes of Foster versus Ford coming down the line that we're going to be talking about, with a very more than important fight. I think it's more important that we've been giving it credit for, that we had to discuss as the landscape of 135 let's go to landscape of 130 can change and shift with this fight, and potentially fights that can come after this. Ooh, can get very interesting, at least in my opinion. As well as, again, Bivol, Eifert returning for Bivol after back surgery. What will he look like, and how will he respond to the call-outs of Dave Benavidez post his return? Depending on how he looks, what's his chances of even beating the likes of Benavidez or an Archer Benavidez in a trilogy fight at this stage in his career, and so much more in the landscape of boxing and beyond. And we're gonna join in with you all on the excitement of conversation and get it going, show. So it's time to start boxing, it's time to start sports, and it's time to step into the ring. Yes, sir. Let's get it started. Ring the bell. It's time to work. It's time to earn our keep in the world of sports and beyond. And also, speaking of earning our keep, we already got paid. Hey, man, 2 minutes into this show, already making money. That's what we do right here. We thank you, Matt Borgerson, tuning into the show for your $5 super chat on our humble abode of an empire community. We thank you so much. We appreciate you. So grateful for the support and so grateful for the love that you give to our channel. Let's see what you had to say on today. I think Xander will frustrate Bruce Ennis like the Shukajan fight. I don't think weight has to do with frustration. I think Zayas can box a decision 7-5 or majority decision. It started going in over the second chat and the thing. And let me see 2 things on how Scoop Foster's skill set when he basically won against overweight No Motivation Fulton. I got Foster. Also, Zayas beat Boot. So hey, look, we can talk about both of these instances. We're going to have some stuff with Boots, and it's no question about it. First and foremost, so let's address the issue, or rather the question at hand, with the fight between O'Shaquie Foster and Raymond Ford going at it against each other for O'Shaquie. I believe for O'Shaquie's a title in a fight that has had everybody very much on a dangerous road to competitive fervor. In terms of the danger is both of them do not like each other. They're a danger to each other's health because there is some real latent animosity between these two very dangerous fighters. I'm serious. I'm telling you, I did not think this fight was this much of a bad blood scenario. But look, they got them facing off against each other. They jawing at each other. But O'Shaquie Foster done pushed like Raymond Ford back, getting in his face. Everything all of a sudden very much heating up in an interesting affair of conversation, of dangerous damage that can be incurred on each fighter. And when you talk about the skill sets for the likes of Foster versus of Ford, well, let me be perfectly honest, and I'll say it from the jump. I think O'Shaquie Foster is a more skillful fighter than the likes of Raymond Ford. I'm serious. I do. Yes, we know. We've seen Foster in the ring against the likes, we've seen Ford in the ring against the likes of Nick Ball, who was formerly champion at 126, put on a great effort, but lost in again, Nick Ball did win. I'm not going to act like it was a robbery, but it was a showing of, okay, this young cat, he got some real gumption in him. He got some real dog in him. More than dog, he's got a motor and an ability to be in the trenches with one of the more tank-like figures. Not Gervonta Davis tank-like figures, but tank in terms of a frame of physical impounding damage that can be incurred, that we know Nick Ball is. You were able to stand the fire and stay right toe-to-toe with him. Hey, that gave me some real... I had to get some props. I had to applaud. I had to go clap my hands a little bit and be like, hey, you know what? This even in failure, there was a modicum, not even modicum, a legitimate standpoint of success that we had to look and say, this man in the future can be a champion and be a dominant champion at that, even if he chooses to move up, which now he's moved up fighting at 130 against O'Shaquie Foster. But the difference is, and I've said this before, not trying to sound like a broken record, the evolution of Raymond Ford versus the encapsulation of what we've seen from the best of O'Shaquie Foster, I haven't seen it catch up in the same framework of closing the distance in skills that I thought we would see from the likes of Raymond Ford. He's incredibly strong. He's incredibly not damaged, but he's incredibly able to damage other opponents. He has a lot of great physical abilities that causes him to go, and even with the lack of, I would say, as deep of a bag as we can see with the likes of O'Shaquie Foster, it makes up for it. And if anything, it still is, even with the skill set that he does have, it may not be as robust, but it still is enough, more than enough, for most opposition that he faces off against. But even with that, the physical aspect of this fight now comes into a bit of a question, because he's not at the same strength-wise advantage, or rather physical advantage, that he was in his previous runs at 126. Now, that does not mean he still isn't stronger than Foster. I think he is a stronger fighter in terms of physical strength than Foster. You can just see the way that he's built. He's a dense, stocky brother that not just got cracked, but he legit got, he's strong. He's powerful. But now he's dealing with longer length, longer reach, better speed, on top of a skill set. It looks like you are not in the same evolved sense of usage when compared to O'Shaquie Foster. Now, going off of what we see with Matt Borgeson, saying that, hey, what Foster did against a overweight, out of shape fighter in Fulton who did not belong at 130. Be clear. I said that from the jump. He did not belong at the weight class of 130. And I hope he never goes back. I will say that today. I hope he never, and I mean, I hope he never goes back, because he shouldn't. And he looked like what we said with Canelo when he moved up to 175 the second time against Bivol. You're not built for it. He's not built for that position of ability to be able to fully use all of his speed, snappiness, and everything that made Fulton up there. He was blown up, literally blown up in the show. So yeah, there is it's not an asterisk, but the context shows this is not going to be most likely that type of fight where the physical shape is not just going to be unprepared of the opposition, but it's also going to be not built to last up here. I think Raymond Ford can last at 130, can stay at 130. I just don't think he's better than the 130 fighter in Foster. I don't. How can he get around the jab, the range, the fundamental soundness of somebody like a Foster without getting frustrated? And that's the biggest thing about this fight. The frustration of Raymond Ford. Now, this is not me saying that, Raymond Ford, he's a hothead. He gets in there. He's always overly eccentric to the point that he loses himself. I'm not saying that in the most egregious respects, but in some aspects, those statements have some validity. What do I mean? Well, oftentimes we've seen, or at least I've incurred, Raymond Ford sometimes can get goaded in to do something that he doesn't want to do something that the game plan doesn't imply that he should do. More important, let's put it in layman's terms. This man, you can get under his skin, and especially if the fight starts to go not his way, this brother will go through and just say, all right, yeah, it's time to dog it out. But he does it in a way that it's like it's built in, not necessarily desperation, but somewhat anger. Somewhat, oh my gosh, oh my goodness, here we go. Just stay still so I can go and take you out. That type of thing. Timothy Bradley even brought it up with the fact that he was saying that when you can get the likes of Raymond Ford frustrated, he goes through and gets into that high guard, starts to walk you down, and again, paraphrasing, but he essentially called it a dummy guard. Or a dummy game plan. Something along those lines. Timothy Bradley's words, not mine. When it comes to if we get Raymond Ford out of his element, he can turn into a fighter that is, you can get him. More than you can get him, you can control him. Because his emotions are now running too high for the ability that he needs to make this fight turn back around. He loses himself in the fight, but in the worst way possible, not in the best way possible. He takes himself out of the element to make this thing really known. And I also say that because just look at what happened when we were looking, just look at what it was when he was going into the face-off with the likes of O'Shaquie Foster when Raymond Ford went up at him. Literally went face-to-face, trying to do a stand-down with each other. What was it? I forget which park it was in, but I think it was somewhere up north. But, like, you could see already getting under. Immediately. There's a level of calm demeanor versus an uber eccentric, that's the wrong word. But there's an energy with Ford. There's like, yo, I'm coming to get you, but it's easily able to be lost into, he's so determined to come get you that he lets aspects of his game go that will cause him to be easier to beat. That's what I think is a deciding factor for this fight with Foster versus Ford. We got people in the chat, but hold on, before we even continue, we got people in the chat that we want to go and look and talk to, like with Pro Boxing. How you doing? Or Boxing Pro, excuse me. How you doing? Salute to you. Good to see you, and we appreciate you on our live stream. I mean, you got that from Into the Storm episode 5. Yeah, I did. Like I said, I'm around. Look, I don't know everything. This is why we go and look at other stuff, because other people can bring in good elements of a fight. And looking at what Timothy Bradley said, watching Raymond Ford back, there's some validity to it. And y'all know me. If y'all follow me on the channel, y'all know I've had my problems with the likes of Timothy Bradley for a number of years with some of the stuff he has said regarding boxers in the world of this sport that I love. I'm telling. I've said that he's been stupid at times. I've said he doesn't know what he's talking about. I've said he's embellished stuff. I've said all that. But also give props to when he's right. At least in my opinion. I'm not saying I know everything. This is why you had multiple voices in the room help to make a better picture of what the situation is. And there's some reality to it. And I say that also because of what we saw from the face-off, which I'm about to play, and I'm about to delve into exactly what moment pinpoints calm versus losing themselves. Now I'm gonna show you right here. Let me see. A fight's gonna be so boring too. Foster Ford. It won't be a dog fight. I don't think it's gonna be boring. I don't think it's gonna be boring. And I do think it will turn into a one-sided type of affair. I do. It's not gonna be boring because Raymond Ford will really want and try to push this pace. I just wholeheartedly believe he's gonna fail at it. I think he'll feel it. And also, Julius, how you doing? Good to see you. Salute to you, and we appreciate you on our live stream. Welcome back. Welcome aboard. Hopefully you're leaving a like on the stream as you're watching. Hopefully you keep on sharing the show and telling everybody that you know about what we got going on right here on our show. Right now, we're delving into the fight over the weekend with Foster versus Ford, happening in a fight that's going to have some big ramifications for the 130-pound division, who will move on from this into bigger fights down the line, and what those fights can be, we'll discuss a little bit later on. Right now, the fight itself, we're delving into what is the X factor in this fight, and for my opinion, I believe that X factor is, can Raymond Ford essentially keep his cool in a way that doesn't let him lose himself to the moment of the fight and lose himself to the anger, or rather the necessary aggression to make this fight turn around. Because he's going to need aggression. Be clear, he's going to need it. He's not going to be able to outbox the likes of Foster, especially from the outside. He's got a chance to catch Foster. He does. Be clear. If Foster is not careful and he gets countered with a shot off the ropes, he got a chance to get caught and hurt. He got a chance to get rocked in a real bad way. We've seen it happen before. We are not saying that O'Shaquie Foster is invulnerable. Be clear. He is in a dangerous state that if this man goes too aggressive in his own way and lets himself get lax in some regards on his own, he can get hurt. He can get hurt bad. That one shot, Raymond Ford, he got enough pop that he can go put that butt on Dream Street if he ain't careful. But the likelihood goes into, how does Raymond Ford get on the inside? And if he can't get on the inside as easily, if he gets frustrated because of that, now the track of danger really starts to come about. And here's why. As we switch over into picture-in-picture, look at this interactions they were going through and getting each other's face as the pre-fight, antics, facing off against each other, meeting eye to eye and all that stuff. We understand what this is for, but look at the reactions and look at the demeanor of each as they both go and start jawing at each other. And I think this is at least a potential signifier of the calmness of O'Shaquie Foster versus the over-aggressiveness of a Raymond Ford. And Raymond Ford, he might get in the ring, just like in this exchange, and get a little too eager. And it could be his downfall.
I'm gonna break your shit. Ain't what? Don't get the touch me like that. Don't touch me. Don't touch me. You doing too much shit. I'll break your shit. Don't touch me for nothing. Touch me. Y'all talking crazy, boy. I'm dead. I need his pussy. Watch out, boy. You a little boy, I'm gonna beat you the fuck up, nigga. Y'all my man's face when we take it. What you looking scared for? Hey, yo, kid, come here, kid. What you scared for, man? Why you looking so scared for, man? I'm talking about my man saying bitch and all that. Watch what I do to him. Niggas not on. Watch what I do to him.
So again, the fight, you get the feeling. You get the excitement. It feels every bit of a bad blood scenario, but it is the In that very moment, you saw who was the first. Yeah, Oshaki was the one that said, hey, brother, back up off me. You're getting too close. You don't even be doing all that. But after that, it was, we loved the anger. We loved the aggression. We loved the fervor that we saw from the likes of Raymond Ford. But it is the aftermath of how Shock handled himself. While Raymond kept on trying to jaw, there seems to be a little, it's not just about, oh, yeah, I'm going to beat you and that type of stuff. It's how you handle that type of violent moment. And at what happened? We saw Ford pushing forward. We saw Ford, as much as Foster was, again, talking, Ford was stepping. And Oshaki was just saying, hey, brother, calm down. You keep on doing like this, it's going to mess you up. And as the more he started goading, the angrier we saw Ford get. That, I'm not trying to play like I'm a psychologist, like I'm in his head. I've seen this before. Outside the ring can sometimes tell the story of inside of the fight. And I think this is going to bode true. That when we look at Foster fight Ford, the same level of Ford, if that jab still holds true and keeps Ford at bay, Ford is going to let his emotions get to him. And he's going to start overcommitting on stuff because he wants to get on the inside. He's going to get sick of that jab landing on him. He's going to get tired of getting peppered from range with that 72-inch reach that we know. I think it's 72 or 68, however long we know Foster's arms are going in and hitting him consistently. He's going to get tired of having a situation where every chance I get, I'm getting caught with something and I can't return the favor. Now it's time to get desperate. It's time to get mad. It's time to get angry. And it's time to go and make this man shut up. And because of that mentality, because of that feeling of, we got to make you work. We got to make you feel my presence. I think Foster's going to get the best of him. And he's going to probably talk while he's doing it. But he's going to get Foster more mad. But he's going to make it even more overzealous. Which is going to make it even more easy for Shock to go and continue to catch him. Continue to crack him. And continue to not necessarily do the same thing that we saw from the likes of Stephen Fulton. Because I don't think the fight's going to look just like that. But a similar level of success where the oohs and ahs of the crowd start going. The punches of Oshaki Foster continue to land and get even more pronounced as the fight goes later. And the danger of Ford, not just getting knocked out, but the perpetual, constant, concussive nature of getting caught with shots over and over. It's going to start to change the face. The blood's going to start to flow. The eye or the cheekbone's going to start to swell. We're going to see this fight probably end by unanimous decision. And we see Ford lose on the cards. I think that's what we see. I think that's what we see. It thinks to me. But let me see what you all had to say, because I would love to hear your thoughts and opinions. If Foster don't come out to Houston Music and Jimmy Chance Restaurant, which is well-known food chain in Texas, all his uniform is going to be so long. I mean, look, we hope so. Like I said, this could be, I hope he represents. I do. I really do. Because see, here's the thing. Raymond Foster, after that win with Fulton, and if he beats the likes of Ford, there'll be 2 back-to-back wins against really substantial names that would get the limelight of the 130-pound division even more brightly shown on Foster as a legitimate threat to an abundance of talent that has been seen as, okay, he's good, but our focus is a little bit elsewhere. Now, it can get real serious, real dangerous, and really exciting that he's in now a position. Well, we can finally get the fight with Neverete. Hypothetically, hopefully, Lord willing, we can get that fight. And with the deserved amount of hype that it would garner. Because now he's got wins that are on the public appeal, on the wider scope of the boxing landscape, people know the names of. And especially if he beats a young cat like Raymond Ford, who has been looking at or has been looked at as one of the next big things, one of the next huge opportunities in boxing to see a young star flourish and shine, a potential future champion, as he's been touted as. These 2 wins can get him on the map of a pedestal, or get him on the map to be put on a pedestal that can bring not just bigger paydays, but some bigger fights. And be clear, this fight is more than just an immediate never-ending opportunity, or the money comes more because everybody now sees you beat 2 people that they know. Don't forget, he's still been calling out Shakur for who knows how long. He's still been calling out Shakur for Lord knows how long. And still is entertaining that fight. Hey, I would love to fight with Shakur. I would love to get a fight with Stevenson. Y'all seen what I can do. Y'all seen what I can be. I'm going to tell you this. The only way he can get that fight would be if he keeps putting on dominant displays like he did against Fulton. People going to need a lot of belief, a whole lot of belief, that if we want to get a chance to see Foster versus Stevenson, if Stevenson even comes back down to 135, which he has said he wants to do, but again, time will tell. If he even wants to sniff at that opportunity, he's going to have to put on some performances that has everybody shocked and appalled by the damage that was incurred and by the dominance that he put on. It's going to need to be one-sided in a way that puts everybody on pins and needles. Oh, shoot, we knew he was good. We didn't know he was this good. We knew he was a dog. We didn't know he was this much of a monstrous figure. We knew that this man was all that in a bag of chips. We didn't know that he also came with his own charcuterie board. We need something that a consistent pan of performances that you can look at and say, all right, that fight at least may be believable. At least it may be believable. But again, it's going to take this win being one-sided. Because be clear, if this fight looks close, that talk of Shakur and others probably goes up in smoke. At least for the immediate. I'm serious. The riding momentum of this fight is simply, if this fight is in any way close, this is going to be all that talk that he's been talking about wanting to fight the Shakurs of the world. It's going to be not people ain't going to buy into it. Not in the same way. They ain't going to buy into it in the same regard. They're not going to look at it as a feasible, believable outcome of, I actually would have some investment. It's the truth. That's where he's at. And it's not, I'm not saying that in a bad way. I'm saying that as that's the position that he needs to continue, not just to pan out and make a reality, to make people believe, hey, I am actually in position and got the skills to make this fight happen. He's got to make people see this fight and have them say, you know what? I actually would want to see it. And so this fight with Raymond Ford, if he makes a statement here, it continues that hope and continues that opportunity. And if so, great. I would love to see it. But again, time will tell. And with this fight, it should be Foster gets the victory. Unanimous decision. It should be. But on the flip side of the spectrum, if Raymond Ford gets this upset, well, we finally get to have the moment we've been waiting on. We are finally in position to getting the very outcome for a young star that we've been hoping would actually happen, and having it in a moment where, again, people are still saying right now, everything that you are while you're physically up there, you ain't skillfully up there. This could shut up all the doubters. And everything about Raymond Ford as a potential hope and prayer that most people have had in regards to the world of boxing, with them being a potential young star, with them being a potential dominant champion, with them being somebody that can finally get over the hump of beating somebody that's had this threshold of I'm the man and now you beat the man. This is everything we've been waiting on. The monkey's finally off the backs of a lot of people that have been holding out hope to believe that Ford is worth its weight in salt. Because to some degree, people have felt the honeymoon period of this young fledgling career started to run out. Yeah, he has been the focus of a lot of people, we understand. But even still, we want to see him. All right? It's your second opportunity against somebody that was supposed to be, that you not just could have beaten, but was at the top of the mountain. It's time for you to plant your flag and make it known. If you can get it done, validates everything we've been saying. And now it could be you versus Neverette. It could be you trying to go and unify the rest of the titles. It could be you going and having an opportunity to run this division. I wouldn't be mad at seeing it. But we got to see if it actually pans out. And if we do, great. But again, the clock's always been ticking. But now, get your second crack at the top apple on the tree. People going to be saying, if he doesn't get it done now, some of the belief may start to wane. Some. As to the outright potential that we can see from the likes of Raymond Ford. But we will see how it goes. But I think we're going to see Shock get the victory and beat him by unanimous decision. But we'll find out as we get to this weekend's action. But even more so, beyond just the action of this weekend with Ford and Foster, we got Bivol making its return to the ring. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. The man, the myth, the pound for pound, number 6 brother in the world is now returning to the boxing landscape in an opportunity against Eifert to make not just his presence felt, not just his brand known, but to make himself in a real position to have the glory of boxing thrust back upon him once again and return from injury. That's been one of the biggest things about this whole tirade when it comes to Bivol. And after he was going to fight Beterbiev and didn't fight the likes of David Benavidez, had to relinquish the belt because of that whole situation. That's how Benavidez became full champion, but then had to go get back surgery. And apparently he had it because of a nagging injury that had been on him for a number of years. And now, with him coming back, we got a whole bunch of questions in regard to him as a fighter. What will he look like in his return to the ring in a situation where we're saying the best in the world, whose movement was his magnum opus as a talent, as a pound-for-pound threat, as a potential, let's say it, as a potential ruler of not just 175, but even against likes of Benavidez and others. Nobody can really touch him within that division of 168 and below. Excuse me, 175 and below, outside of Artur Beterbiev. Will that actually hold true? Or we have some concern? Now, be clear. Be clear. Bivol versus Eifert. We should see Bivol beat Eifert. I'll say it blunt right now. We should see him beat him. We should see him go and get the job done. It should be a situation where we get Eifert to, I'm not going to say make Bivol look good, but it should make Bivol look good. Because Bivol, vastly better, vastly more experienced, faster, quicker. I believe that he is longer as well, but everything about Bivol should be predicated to win. But that is if it was the old Bivol. Now, because we don't know what Bivol we may have, how much can he afford to lose to even still be able to compete against the likes of the elites of the elite? And it's going to, and I'm going to say not much. He can't afford to lose much, at least not to me. He can't. Especially if Beterbiev is still on the dossier of talent, and that fight is still on the table for everybody saying we want to see that smoke, or at least Turkey Al Sheik, if he still wants to have that fight go through and go down. We are all sitting here saying, hey man, Bivol, we respect you. But we also know that this type of injury can stop you from being able to be everything that you should be with how you fight, that Soviet style, that back and forth affair, that pendulum of fighting stance that you garner every time that you fight. Getting in and out, scoring with volume and angles, having some of the most educated feet that we have in boxing right now. You have it all, but is that now all you used to have? And we're not talking about the past tense. And I'm scared to say we may see it. Because again, I'm using across sports. Dwight Howard, perfect example. One of the best centers we ever had in NBA history. One of the best defensive players we've ever had in NBA history. Dominant, athletic freak of nature, 6'11", about 260. I mean, built like a Greek god, legitimately. And this man was as athletic as all get out, 39-inch vertical. Could run up and down the floor with the best of them, had agility, had everything, timing, power. Power personified was what Dwight Howard played like. However, after that back injury, Bryce never the same. Struggled on the Lakers, couldn't even sit down on the bench. Struggled on the Rockets. And Charlotte had some better opportunities of success, but even still, he just had a 30-20 game, had a stint of like 20-20 games, but even still, he just wasn't the same guy that had prime, unless he was, and that power of his, the core, the balance, the explosiveness, all took a significant hit. It took a significant hit because of that injury. That's what Bivol's dealing with, to some degree, to a major degree. Turning in on his punches, being able to put his weight and change direction in the same fast sense that he was able to. There's going to be potentially a real shift in the style of Bivol. Potentially. I'm not saying it's going to be concrete, because we've seen fighters, somehow they're able to look exactly the same. We get it. But it's going to be concerning. At least from the standpoint of, if it does show to be a problem, it should not be a problem to the point that it will hinder him from beating Eifert. He'll beat Eifert, even if he isn't 100%. Understandable. But if he's not 100%, this bodes bad for the other potential future matchups that we can see from the likes of Bivol, like Beterbiev or David Benavidez. Specifically David Benavidez. Because that's the fight that everybody's looking at and saying, we want to see what Benavidez can do. If Benavidez is saying, I'm coming back down to 175 for real. It's either him or Jaya Pataya at cruiserweight. We'll see what happens with Jaya Pataya. Jaya Pataya ain't got a belt. So that most likely is going to be secondary to the thing that Benavidez wants to do, which is take out Bivol, go back down, and take a title at 175. That looks to be the threshold of happenings. Or that looks to be the sentiment of happenings that's going to transpire. Doesn't change that we're looking at this and saying, Bivol, with that type of matchup, oh, buddy, if you ain't everything that we knew that you were, you could have to run into some problems against Artur Beterbiev. If you got to go and stand with him, not just boxing in and out, but legit, because of your back, because of your injury, because of the potential mitigated movement that you're going to have if that injury is still sustaining in damaging your ability to fight like we know you can fight. This third time round, you're going to be directly in Beterbiev's wheelhouse if you fight him a third time. And you're going to be in a really dangerous situation because you ain't going to be able to get out the way like you normally were. And you still picked your spots when you were coming in and committing to the inside work against Beterbiev. It worked. But now you staying in that fire the entire time, or more than you would like to, they can draw some concerns because you can't move like you used to. We need to keep a very close eye on what this fight is going to look like. We need to keep a very close eye on what this fight is going to look like when we're watching Bivol against Eifert. Because this should be an easy win, but it definitely is not going to be. It's not just, but the win is not just the only thing. The performance of the body It's going to be very significant. We need to make sure that we be mindful of that as we're watching this weekend's action. But let me keep on reading what you all have to say. Like with Julius, Foster needs to show more and prove he wants Shakur. And again, like I said, we're flipping back and forth between topics of discussion. Be clear, it's kind of a lighter news day today. So we ain't gonna be able to go 4 hours like we did last time, even though y'all did do an incredible job of having this go so long on Tuesday. We appreciate it absolutely. And again, we got time for the championship rounds to talk about anything and everything under the sun, no question about it. But 30 minutes to an hour to talk about, let you cut loose on whatever you want to say. Still, point still stands as we transition back into Foster versus Ford. There is between 130, 135, whole bunch of opportunities for a whole bunch of people. If we're being completely honest, this fight could be one of the last fights that we get from O'Shaquie Foster before moving up fully to 135. Let's be honest. Let's be honest. Navarrete is the biggest threat to O'Shaquie Foster right now. At this point. That's the fight I would love to see transpire. I would love to see that fight take place. If not, and we get Raymond Ford and Shock beats him, going after Undisputed, that's always a great opportunity. Going after unification, that's always a phenomenal thing to do, no question. But where the business of boxing lies is at 135. And for Shock, you've successfully put yourself in the same, not on the same caliber. You're not in the same rank. You're not in the same vicinity, but you are at least in the same conversations of who could we see some of the better fighters in the world fight against. And you're in the very same position that we just saw Tank take Lamont Welch from when he was champ at 130, and all of a sudden Tank said, we're going to fight you at 135. Move up and see what you got. Okay, great. I'll move up, and now you shock the world, and everybody respects you in a way that they didn't before, myself included. That is what we are in Shock's position with right now. He's at that moment in time where after this win, there are branching avenues, branching opportunities with him. Schofield, Tank, Murataya, Andy Cruz, Abdullah Mason, Sam Noakes. There's some fights that if he moved up, they would get some buzz and some investment. And if somebody wants to take an easy route and call him up and thinking it's going to be easy work, well, he got a chance to shock the world, like I said, yet again. And prove to the masses, I am what I said I am. I was what I said I was. I'm the dog that I thought I was going to be. That's what Foster has at his grasp right now. That's the brass ring currently that he's able to mark and make for himself. It's just a matter of, will it actually get it done? Will he actually put on that performance? Could we see him take that and run with it? And if so, great, phenomenal, stupendous. I would love to see it. I would love to see it. And if anything, going off a court, we see with O'Shaquie Foster himself talking about what he's talking about what he is seeing from the likes of Shakur. This also breeds into why this fight could actually be a legitimate thing. Because as you can see, as we transition over in the picture-in-picture, I'll pull up the court right here in full so you can see it up close. O'Shaquie Foster warned Raymond Ford about trying to mimic Shakur Stevenson and dissing his challenger as a lower version of Shakur. And as you can read by the quote right here, he's the lower version of Shakur. They both do the same things. Now, do I think that statement's actually true? No. I don't. Be clear. There is some crossover with the likes of Ford and Shakur. Some. In terms of taking some of the applications of what Shakur does, and Raymond Ford tries to apply it in his own regime. I'll say yes in that. But it's after that, it stops. They don't do that. He tries, but he doesn't do it outright. But for those that believe that Ford and Shakur are cut from the same cloth, even though they're just different people, which they are, and completely different fighters. One's way better than the other. For those of you that believe, for them, this is going to be something that's going to have, some big implications. And Shock probably views this as, this is my chance to show against a copycat of the guy that's supposed to be the best boxer in the land. You ain't nothing. Because if I can do this against a version of you, the real you should know I got a legitimate shot. Again, in O'Shaquie Foster's mind, this may be what he's thinking. There's a lot on the cards with this fight. There's a lot on the table. There's a lot of proving ground with this fight. To have O'Shaquie Foster show the world that against a Shakur clone, as he says in the quote over here, this is just going to be a leading in to the bigger picture of what's going to happen when the actual fight occurs. And if so, hey, sparks could fly. And that fight could get some more belief that, it might actually be possible. But again, we don't want to delve too much into it. Well, excuse me. We've delved as much as we can into the outright investments of this fight, and there's still more to cover on the rest of the boxing world. We want to make sure that we don't miss out on anybody's conversations and chats, as well as keeping the flow of this show going, because we got more stuff to talk about on this show in terms of boxing, like with some new developments in the world of Vasily Lomachenko. That's right. Loma's got some new news as to who he's going to potentially be fighting, as reported by the boxing scene. And it seems like he is now not going to be facing off against Shakur or Tank or any of the big time players at 135 and beyond as his first fight back. It seems like he's going to do the smart thing, what I think he should have done, which is take a tune-up fight. Yes, and it looks like he's going to be fighting against Charlie Suarez, as we can see in this depiction from the boxing scene. And again, this is More Boxing, More Problems, as reported by the boxing scene on their website. But it's real. This is real. Lomachenko targeting a fight with Charlie Suarez in his return to the ring in his first fight back since a 2-year retirement from boxing that apparently was now done in retrospect to get out of his contract with Top Rank and become a free agent. So, we're going to see Lomachenko get his feet wet. We're not going to see him jump into the deep end fully and completely jump the gun in making these fights and going up against the biggest of dogs at the immediate of the restarting of his career. Thank gosh. Thank goodness. Thank the Lord. This is the right decision. I know people said they wanted to see him get the smoke. I was excited to see him get in the ring and completely go guns blazing off rip against the rest of the competition in the world of boxing. I get it. I understand. I wanted to see him go through and take on every challenge, take on every chance, go through the gauntlet of everybody outright. That sounded great. But even with that, I said I hope he takes a rematch or takes a tune-up before going in to that type of deep end of moniker. Because we don't know how much the Matrix has lost in its data as a fighter. We don't. If we did, it would be pretty telling, because if it was nothing, boom, we can see this man go through and continue to shine, flourish, and fight everybody without any problems. If it is a problem, though, we got to reinvent some things. We got to change some conversations. I want Lomachenko to be at his best. I want Lomachenko to have the chance, not just to come back, but to show that he's back with a vengeance. I want Lomachenko to get the big fights. I want him to look like he is able to not just compete, but to pick up back where he left off as one of the best technical savants, one of the biggest threats to some of the best technicians around the boxing world, like Shakur, like Tank, and like Abdullah Mason, even though he's not necessarily the best technical matchup, but he is on that level of I'm a real champion. We want to see that. I do. And I hope and pray that we see this man, if this fight is real, fighting against Charlie Suarez, who again is undefeated, he is 18-0 with 10 knockouts. I'm not saying he's an absolute pushover, but for the likes of who Lomachenko is, Suarez should be able to be beaten by him. And if Lomachenko's coming back and looking like 100% after this fight, ooh, buddy, ooh, man, rub your hands together. Grab you some popcorn and some drinks because the Matrix is about to return. It's about to get reloaded. It's about to come back to theaters and arenas all across the globe. And everybody's going to be tuning in to see how can this confusing figure in boxing, in the sense of inside the ring, continue to topple the better, acclimated, evolved version of the landscape of boxing that he left behind. Because Shakur wasn't as good as he is right now. Abdullah Mason wasn't even on the scene in this way as he is right now. We got Keyshawn Davis, who right now is looking like, even though he's not going to be coming down to 135, most likely, almost assuredly. Never again, because he ain't missing weight no more. But even still, that type of dossier of fighter we've had now sprinkled across multiple divisions, including your own. And we want to know, what are you in this new reloaded Matrix state against an abundance of talent that has now looked to get closer or outright reached their potential as a boxer? Oh, we can get some great fights coming on. This brother still looks like what we knew him as. Man, if he does, boy, it'll be very entertaining. It'll be very entertaining, man. I'm telling you, get excited. Get excited, because this is the right way to do it. This right here is the right way to make stuff shake and make stuff happen. And I can't wait to see how it unfolds as we continue to go through and talk through the landscape of boxing and beyond. But even still, we got more stuff that we can cover on this show. And like we said, look, today it's not necessarily the most abundance of news days. We understand. A lot of the biggest news that we covered over the week happened Tuesday with Usyk, with Rico, with that whole reality of conversation. But we still gonna make it so that you all enjoy your stay here and have ourselves a good time and make the best out of everything that we have on our what's the word? On our docket of conversation. To get you all invested and enthralled with the show and keep you all entertained, like with legendary Super Saiyan Jackson. How you doing? Good to see you. Welcome back to the show. We love to see you all here. We love to support you all. We're glad that you're back on our show, and we can't wait to see everything that you have to say. Let me see. I got Foster by decision. I think he keeps the jab in Raymond Ford's face. And we can go back to that conversation and talk more about the jab of O'Shaquie Foster. It's gonna sting Raymond Ford. It is. Raymond Ford, I don't know if he really has an answer for that jab, unless he just wants to go and counter. Straight up and counter. Go trade for trade. I got better power. I'm a land on. And I don't know, because the way Shock throws that jab, it's like a spear, but from so far away relative to the division that he's in. I am not sure if Raymond Ford has the same abilities to be able to duck, dive, and move all 12 rounds to get away. Not even get away, but to get through that jab to land his stunning shots. Because he's got some great hooks. He has some good combination punching once he gets within range. If you let him get you on the ropes, sure, you have yourself some problems. I have no issue there. It's the fact to get there. I'm not sure he can cover that distance. I'm not sure he can consistently get to that range and make stuff shake in his favor. I'm not sure he can go through and get himself in that dangerous punch distance, the drop zone, to throw some bombs and get this fight completely turned in his favor. I don't. And if he doesn't get it done by like round 5, round 6, he's going to start to get mad. Like I said at the start, he's going to get mad. He's going to get mad. He's going to get angry. He's going to lose himself to the fight, and he's going to push himself to the point that he just can't. He can't take the frustration. And now he does what Timothy Bradley said. Shell up, wall up, and go through and work. Walk you down. Walk and stalk. But not with the same countering ability or catch and shoot ability that we've seen from the likes of Canelo Alvarez or an Isaac Cruz. He tries to be a bully. He tries, when he gets mad, he tries just to be a dog. He tries to outwork the worker. He tries to outpress the pressure. He just tries to be the big kahuna inside the ring and be and let his stature and aggression and mentality of, ooh, I'm going to take you out. I'm going to just destroy you. I'm fed up. I'm seeing red. Tends to let that take over. And just like what we saw when they were staring each other down in that park when they were faced off against each other, Foster is better at staying composed regardless of the moment. Ford is not. And I'm more confident that if Ford got on the front foot and made Shock have to go and adapt, Shock could do that better than Ford needing to have to change how he fights to gain some success. Because it's going to be, that's the story of the fight. You got to change. You got to do something different. You have to go and shift your makeup of a fighter to make yourself come out on top in this position. That's what's going to have to be. And I don't have the same belief that Ford can do that in this type of scenario against somebody that will not let the range go. He won't. He won't. So I'm concerned. I'm concerned. And let me see. Peel out. Ford is going to stop Foster. Well, how you doing? We appreciate you on our live stream. Salute to you and thank you for showing up on our show. Oh, yes, indeed. We love it. We appreciate it. Keep on liking the stream. Keep on sharing the show. We talking about Raven Ford versus Foster and everything else under the sun involving the fights coming next weekend. This weekend, But also, we can touch on some things that happened earlier this week if you want to touch on some of the conversations from Tuesday. Because the news load is kind of light today outside of the fights that are happening on this weekend. But regardless of which, we want to hear from you all, and we love your thoughts and opinions. And you think that Ford's going to stop Foster? He can. I just don't think he will. The question is how. The question is how. The best way I can see Ford catching Foster straight up is if he goes and surprises Foster with an unexpected counter. If he can surprise Shocky Foster with a counter off the ropes, I can say then, yeah, he can get him. He can stop him. That can be the beginning of the end. That can start a whole bunch of damage. No question about that. It's just the whole thing is, can he find that opening? Can he find that window? Can he get it done? I just don't know. Can he be calm enough to find that window? That's the one thing I'm just not sure about. If he is, great, it can happen. I just don't know. I just don't know. Let me see. Gotta like the way Foster moving. No, I do. Who wouldn't? I mean, who wouldn't? This brother, we talked before. And also, Joshua Wagner, how you doing? I'm sorry, Joshua Wagner, how you doing? Good to see you. We appreciate you on our show. Love you on the live stream. Keep on liking the stream and sharing the show with everybody across the globe. No question about it. But we touched on this before you came in here. We touched on the fact that the way he's moving now is getting everybody's attention. At 130, he's getting everybody's attention. It's making everybody look at him in a vein of real, not just success, but looking at him as, okay, you talk about Shakur so much. You say you want to be in the ring with them. You beat Ford. And before that, you beat Fulton. formerly unified champion, you doing work like this, we gotta pay some respects now. We gotta pay some respect. We gotta look at you in the vein of maybe there's some validity. Might be something there. Might be something there. And so the way he's moving is great. The way he's moving is phenomenal. Let me see. Ford isn't, excuse me, oh gosh, I'm sorry. Let me I'm starting. Let me rephrase that. Ford isn't a better boxer than Foster, and Ford will need to box smarter to get inside on him. Foster seems like he'll be too disciplined for the type of brawls that Ford likes to engage in. That's the issue. Can you force Foster to oblige to your game plan of wanting to dog it out? Because that's really what Ford likes to do. Or even if it's not what he likes to do, that's what he continues to consistently do. Dog it out against people. And he's going to need to. He's going to need to. He's going to need to. Because if he doesn't, it's like it's going to be bad. It's going he's going to find out what it really means to be on the technical side, and whether or not this mimicking of Shakur, whether that's real or fake, we're going to find out. Because he's going to need it. He's going to need to do some of the stuff that Shakur does to get this fight in his favor when going up against the likes of O'Shaquie Foster. He's going to need to. He's going to need to. And if he can't, no, it's going to be bad. Let me see. This fight is basically who can make the other fight their fight. Yeah, absolutely, perfectly. That's like always, who can make the other fight, who can make the other person fight their fight. And for the most part, it's can Ford make Shock change? Can Ford make O'Shaquie Foster change? Or will he not? Because most likely he ain't. Most likely he's not. But let me see. Boots is gonna beat the mess out of Zayas, and also that fight is getting closer and closer, day by day, week by week, and year by year. We are getting more and more excited for Boots fighting against the likes of Zayas for the unified titles at 154. Oh yes indeed. Oh yes indeed. And because of that fight, and we've been seeing Boots now training. We've been seeing Boots doing some pool stuff. We've been seeing Boots going through it and working seemingly working like a madman, trying to make this fight as prepared for as possible to get the KO. And everybody's now getting on the bandwagon. Oh, he gonna stop the likes of Zayas. He gonna bust him up. He gonna destroy him. He's gonna kill him. He's in a different element. He's in a different world. He's a different monster now. You're seeing the social media trends. You're seeing the tweets. You're seeing all the interactions. Everybody's all of a sudden saying, well, if I didn't believe him before, I believe it now. Oh my goodness, he's gonna destroy him. He's gonna kill him. He's gonna mess him up. He's gonna get him out of there. It's gonna be light work, easy work. It's gonna be real work. It ain't gonna be light work. It's gonna be real work. Him going through and beating Zayas is going to be impressive. It will. And if he handles it with ease, yes, it's going to add to the aura of Boots. I promise you it will. I guarantee you it will. And the biggest thing that we need to understand about this fight, the body attack for Zayas and for Boots is going to be a big indicative nature of how this fight's going to go. At least in my opinion. The body work of each fighter is going to be very prevalent to the success of both. Specifically Boots more than anything. We know Zayas can punch to the body, and he's got some great talents and technique. We've seen people even now looking into Zayas more. They're starting to see, okay, I get why this guy was seen as so good. I get why this man had so much hype behind him. This cat's the real deal. I'm glad finally he's getting some respect from the wider boxing appeal, looking back at his fights and saying this man's got some talent. And part of that talent is a great body work. But can Boots continue to attack the basement of Zayas and go downstairs and take out not just the gas tank, but take out the energy of the core that is ice, because there's a lot of body to take. That's a lot of body to attack. That's a lot of body that you got to go through and break some windows again. As we see with Teddy Atlas all the time. Break some windows, flood the basement, make everything lethargic, slow, and damaged at the foundation. You take out the foundation, you take out everything else. You take out the confidence. You take out the willingness to engage. You take out the bravado of I can eat all of your punches. You take out the ability to look and predict what's coming at you, because now you're worried about the exposed midsection. Oh yes, the body tech's gonna be a major play into what this fight's gonna be like. I guarantee you, I promise you that. Let me see. Boots beating Xander is in no way a foregone conclusion. Yes, it is. It shouldn't be. For those who think it is, I expect Boots to win, but it ain't foregone. Because Zayas is good enough that if Boots ain't what we say that he is, he can get exposed and put into a dogfight, the likes of which he ain't been put in before. He can be put in danger in a way that he hasn't been put in before. And this isn't just me saying, oh, he won't get a knockout. I'm talking about a real hard fight. A real hard fight. A Shukajan level struggle against a taller opponent, a longer opponent, and potentially an opponent that's got enough pop, in theory, to make you have to respect him. May not be one punch power, but it's enough to where you may have to say, all right, I can't just approach this in the same way where I've just been able to take punches, not have to defend myself, rely on my chin to take the brunt of the damage, and not need to be as disciplined defensively. This is the fight that could make that exposure of the need to apply things that we haven't seen Boots apply as consistently as we want to on the defensive end. And if that's the case, hey, y'all better watch out, because Zayas can shock a lot of people. Let me see. I thought Zayas was the weakest link out of the 140, out of the champions at 140, 3 or 4 fights ago. No, yeah, 3 or 4 fights ago. That's the thing. You gotta understand. That statement was true 3 or 4 fights ago. But it's been in those 3 or 4 fights since that statement, we've been able to say, hey, Zayas is legit. Mind you, and this is the 140, this is the 154 pound division. At this division, even if you are considered the weakest champion of them all, you're still a dog, because there's nowhere to run into. There's no easy fight in this division. Bakram should have knocked out Josh Kelly and gotten him out of there, and it should have been easy. Yet, what did we see happen? We saw Bakram get beat and get knocked down and not be able to knock out the likes of Kelly after he hurt him. We can't, this division at 154, the weakest of the champions. Sure, he's not Fundora. Sure, he's not Ortiz. But guess what? He's right in line with them. From the standpoint of not just as a champion, but of the rest of this division at 154, it is pretty decently sound to say that Zayas is better than most at the 154 pound division outside of those names that we named. Or at least if it's not a wide gap, he's at least at or near the top of most of people's lists when it comes to skills at 154. So no, he's still a real dog. He's still a dangerous opposition. And just because he isn't in the Fundor or Ortiz skill level, he still deserves everything about him being a monstrous figure in boxing and a dangerous threat in this division. At least to me. At least to me. I think he deserves it. Let me see. Peel out. Boots has so much flash to his game. It's not only if you knock somebody out, it's how you knock them out. Also, that matters. So much entertainment and style. No, you're absolutely right. Boots is the next face of boxing entertainment-wise. Benavidez doesn't give us the same flash defensively as Boots. Boots is flash on both ends. Now, I think both of them are at the same position. Benavidez is closer to that face of boxing acumen than Boots right now because of that win against Zerto. He's number 4 pound for pound on my list. That knockout had everybody buzzing. One of the most, not just exciting, but one of the most entertaining one-sided destruction we've had this year that has had everybody saying Benavidez is on the map. Can't nobody stop him. He's closer to that true all-around face of boxing at this point in time. Yeah. But Boots, after Zayas, he's going to be on the fast track to taking that claim. ESPN's already talking about him. We already talked about First Take, putting him on that pedestal. He has been in this dichotomy of function, or rather the shuffle of finding the face. He's been firmly there. It's just the accolades haven't been catching up. Now they are. Everything else about him, yeah, he's got everything else you would need, just not the wins. But he's getting the wins if he does win against the likes of Zayas and beyond. It's got to continue. It has to continue. But I'm going to say this. We talked about this early on with Boots and with anybody as a fighter. Flashy defense is not always good defense. And because of that, that's the very thing that has gotten Boots in trouble a lot of times because of flash. Because it's the same thing that we said about Jared Anderson. Jared Anderson had a lot of flash in his defensive acumen. Looked like the heavyweights that would look like the next great, not just American heavyweight, but a guy that could go and do everything that all the other heavyweights in boxing couldn't do. They couldn't move, didn't have any speed, weren't defensively sound. They were just big, didn't use angles, didn't use head movement, didn't use any of that. Jared Anderson comes in, and all of a sudden he's looking as flashy as can be when it comes to the defensive end of the spectrum. Forgetting the offensive side, because offensively, yeah, he had the combinations and all that stuff in a way that we hadn't seen heavyweights at that point in time use outside of the top tier. So it was like, oh, he might have something. Lo and behold, the flashy defense put him on his butt against the likes of Bacot. And since then, that flashy defense still has made him have bad performances in wins. Because it looks like he's doing a lot, but he's not doing a whole bunch at all. But the sound, more fundamentally disciplined defense, it may not look like it's all that flash. Doesn't look as eye-catching as a Ben Whitaker. Doesn't look as eye-catching, sure, as a Boots Ennis. But what it does have is it works. And for Benavidez, the defense ain't the issue. People don't care that he don't have exciting defensive style. That brother, he'll walk you down and then he'll knock you out. And the way he knocks you out has everybody looking at you saying, oh my gosh, how did you ever think you could beat him? It's like that. So I don't think the defense is never going to be the thing that sells why a fighter is enthralled by the public. It's not going. The defense is never going to be the thing that ultimately. I mean, sometimes it does, but it takes a lot. But it's not going to be the main thing that causes people to say, "Oh man, you all this in the bag of chips." There's got some outliers. Shakur is an outlier. Floyd is an outlier. Pernell Whitaker. James Saunders was more so offensively, defensively insane, but offensively still a killer. You've had them, but it's been a combination of both. It's never been just one side. It's never been just one side. But for Boots, it's not. It's gonna be the offense is what's gonna carry him to that face. If the defense looked more rudimentary, I dare say he would be better defensively, and it would make him look even more dominant. That's me though. If he wasn't doing as much of the flashy stuff, which again, I have no issue with flash. I have no issue with moving your head without getting hit. All that. I have no issue with that. I got no issue with changing of the defensive postures. I got no issue with that. I am having issue with the application of the situation. When in certain situations you're doing the wrong thing, it gets you caught more often than not. I don't think that's good for him in the long term. But as a whole, yeah, he's a dog. He looks, and he fits the bill. He looks the part, and I can't wait to see him. So he's gonna be one of the faces, and he's definitely gonna be a great face in the world of boxing. And he potentially can be the face, legit. He can be the face. Absolutely, absolutely no question about it. All I know is if Zayas stands in front of Boots, it's gonna be long. Oh yeah, it's gonna be for a long night. He's gonna be in for a long night. It's gonna be bad. It's gonna be bad if he does that. It's gonna be really bad if he does that. Let me see. Let me see. I think so. There's no flash to Benavidez's defense. Boots gets oohs and ahs from the crowd, even when he's just defensively. Now, some of that is because of fandom. I'll say that. Some of the oohs and ahs for Boots' defense, I'll say it's because some people, they just glaze everything. Some, not all, but some. I've seen Boots slightly lean back from an uber telegraph shot. Well, I've seen Boots walk forward and just stop because a punch was coming. And all of a sudden, like it wasn't close to hitting him. And he wasn't even in a position to where he could engage with something. But people went, oh my goodness, oh my gosh, oh, it went like that. And I was like, that was nothing significant. I've seen this man miss a punch and the whole crowd went insane. And it was like, it wasn't even close. I've seen this man land a jab on the guard with no effect on the defense, on the fighter. Not because he isn't powerful, but just because it was blocked. And I've heard the crowd ooh and ah because of that. Ooh, what a shot. And I'm like, at some point, some people be doing a little bit too much. A lot of people actually. I'll be clear. There's some instances where I'm like, okay, now, he didn't even do something so significant, but people making a bunch of noise and they miss when something else actually happens that is actually, oh my goodness, yeah, that's impressive. There's been some people that do that. Not all. I'm not saying that's you. I'm just saying there's some where like, yeah, some of the things, they don't need to be. That you talking like you talking, but they do. And it's like, he was supposed to do that. That was like I knew that punch was coming. And so it's again, not all. Most of Boots' stuff, absolutely. Some of it though, he just does the right stuff, but they still talk about him as, or it's like, oh my gosh, this man just evaded all of Ali's punches. And I'm like, wait a minute, hold on now. It was good, but it wasn't that good. Let me see. Overall, we need to see more of that versus top 10 opponents. That's my thing. Someone other than Boachuk. I feel like I'm in the middle of another conversation. I feel like I'm missing time. I feel like I'm missing some conversations. Hold on. Okay, excuse me. Stanionis, not Boachuk. Okay, there we go. Stanionis, not Boachuk. Excuse me. Yes, you are right. That is absolutely true. That's absolutely true. That's absolutely correct. Let me see. If Boots KO'd Karin like how Inoue KO'd Paul Butler for running, I would have been sold already. And crazy enough, Karin didn't even run. Karin was legitimately like boxing while moving. That was not running. In that second fight, it was even more. He sat in the pocket and still gave some Boots some good work, even though Boots won the fight and deserved to win the fight. So, like, if he had knocked him out in any of those situations, even better. If he had made it even clearer, the skill, the separation, okay, yeah, I got your number, I would have been good at it. It's the fact that I saw that as he can get, that is an aspect of offense that he doesn't like dealing with movers. He does not like dealing with movers. He doesn't like people that go around the ring and make themselves hard to hit. with some decent speed. Now people say, oh my gosh, Karn just got beat in his fight at 147, and the last time out got knocked down twice and got beat unanimously. Oh, this is who y'all said was the hardest fight for Boots. Yes, because it was. Go watch it. The losses don't change what actually happened on that night. We need to see a dominance like we saw against Liam, against Ramon Villa, and others. We need to see that on a constant basis against all framework of opponents. And this fight could ultimately still look, with Zayas, yeah, it could still look, oh man, Boots dominates. Boots decimates. Boots does everything that Boots does because it's Boots. No issue there. The flip side of that whole spectrum, there's still going to be some questions ultimately that somebody's going to have. But this type of fight can answer a majority of people's concerns about how he can compete at the elite level when he's at the elite level consistently. And if he answers it right, great. Phenomenal. I love to see it. Let's see. If they fought next, I would still have Jared Anderson beating Richard Torres Jr. Yeah, at this point in time, yeah. I would. I dare say that's a 50-50 fight. I dare say that's a 50-50 fight. But yeah, I'd take Anderson over Torres. If I was picking that one, I would take Anderson over Torres in that fight. Let me see. Ben Rodriguez makes intermediate defensive movements like his pivots look flashy. He does. But it's also because they always are leading to something. Part of the defensive makeup of Bam is that it always leads to something. It's flashy because it's setting up something almost every time. Beyond just the jab. It can lead to an uppercut. It can lead to a hook. It can lead to a straight right. It can lead to an angled uppercut where he's behind you. It's one of the most insane things, but that's part of Bam's insane makeup. He's able to make everything doesn't just look flashy. Everything leads to something with Bam. Everything leads to something with Bam. There's no just, okay, I'm blocking you just to block you. It's setting up something that confuses his opponent every time. That's part of the that's why it's so incredible. That's why he's so incredible. Let me see. I can get what you're saying about the flashy defense though. It can get you in trouble, especially when you cannot get hit with just traditional defensive movements. That's the thing. And there's no shame in having a flashy defensive style. I am not saying that. I am simply saying right now with Boots' flashy defensive makeup, hands down head movement, last second shifts and getting out the way of stuff, skinning the cat oh so much. It is a wondrous trait. It's just the fact that we've seen against lesser opponents, he has been caught. I'm scared that those movements with an already established potential of bad habits with how he was boxing then, because he didn't need to use that type of stuff. That bleeds into when you actually do need to use it, you may be a second late, a second short. I'm not saying it's going to happen against Zayas. I'm saying that is the problem. Because Jared Anderson happened with him. When last second when he needed it, he just couldn't use it. Because he was so reliant on the defense that he did have. The holes that were there did not get fixed. In a way, you might notice, in a way, he's gotten caught plenty of times. He has. He's gotten caught, he's gotten rocked, he's gotten put down, all this stuff. Defensively, still, I say he's one of the best out there. Why? Because we've seen him fix the things that were problematic in those situations where defensively he has some problems. He's using the high guard a lot more. He's not walking with his hands down as much as he used to, predicting and instinctively getting out the way of shots, even though he's got some of the best instincts in all of boxing. Legitimately, he's nearly the perfect fighter. But what he's done is, again, fundamentals first, athletic ability second. It's how he fights. And he's molded his framework of fighting style to fit that what's the word? To fit that layering of skill. That's what I was looking for. And we see what he's doing now. He's not getting touched nearly as much. He's not just jumping out the way of stuff anymore. He's still rolling under stuff. He's still using head movement, don't get me wrong, but the foundation of what he uses to fight, you've seen how much he's able to not get touched nearly like he used to. Boots can apply that and still look flashy. James Toney did that and still look flashy. And that brother didn't even use footwork nearly as much. Sugar Ray Leonard, great defensively, and still looked flashy because he wasn't negating some of the small stuff. Floyd Mayweather. People say he was boring, but he made defense exciting. But he didn't negate the small stuff. That's why he was able to do what he's doing. Shakur right now. Shakur looks sublime. People wish Boots Ennis had Shakur's level defense. You can call it boring all you want. When you see this man fight, it's like, oh my gosh, the people just can't touch him. This is all we're asking from Boots. Just tighten up some stuff. You can still look flashy, just tighten up some things. And then you can be everything that we know you can be. Let me see. The slow motion thing Boots did against Ramon Villa can still get you in a lot of trouble defensively. I don't think you should try that again. Now, most likely he won't. Most likely he won't. I would be shocked if he did. I would be so shocked if he did. But if he did, that would tell me one of two things. Either one, he hasn't learned yet the responsibility I've been begging for him to have. Or two, he has learned the defensive responsibility that I wanted him to have. And because of that, he can now more comfortably take the chance to do slow motion against fighters that are actually legit contenders. Because he better understands the defensive aspect of the game. And now what was a potential dangerous risk ain't a risk anymore. Anyway, when he put his neck out against Paul Butler or Ahmed Ali, he did that, yeah, to entertain the crowd, but also because he understood, okay, boom. I know exactly what I need to do and what to do against you. And I'm fully in tune with my defensive self right now. So I can take this risk. Because whatever, I know exactly how to get out the way. Not just reactively. Predetermined already. Because I know what's coming. It's going to say one of those two things. It's going to say one of those two things. Either he's still hasn't gotten into the makeup of defensive foundations that I want him to get into, or he has. And because of that, he can afford to take the chance now. Either way, though, if we see it again, it's going to be a shock to the system for a lot of people. It's going to be a shock for a lot of people. I promise you that. Let me see. Beach Soul, how you doing? Good to see you. We appreciate you on our show today. Thank you all for tuning in and listening to our live stream. Please keep on hitting the like on the stream. It helps us out immensely to go and push the show out to the masses all across the globe. And if you still want to support the channel, hey, we still got Cash App, PayPal, links down below in the description. Super chat and super gifts galore on whatever you would like to discuss on our show today. We love you and we appreciate you. We're glad that you're here. But let me keep on reading what you all have to say. Like with Beat Soul, I'm convinced all those guys are scared of Brandon Adams. I got Brandon Adams beating Virgil. I don't think they're scared, but I think the risk and reward is just too high. More importantly, because the position of this division at the very top has now really gotten to shake up and be violent. Boots as the cash cow. Ortiz as the second hardest fight, but with the biggest name. Fundora having the world at his, essentially falling under him because the towering inferno is burning up everybody under the sun, and he's turned into a real draw. You got 3 of the 4 titleists right now who are able to make bank and sell Their risk is worth it. Adams at this point in time beating Boychuk twice and looking better, boxing him fully the first time. Or outboxing him fully the first time. Rather than just knocking him out. He is dangerous. But he's not nearly as much of the known name. He also hasn't been fighting as much. But regardless of which, he is not in the priority because people are gunning for the top echelon is moving. I don't want to lose my spot up here. And there's a way I can fight without having to go against him to still get my name up there. So, we don't hear him a lot. People don't talk about him as much. He is not relevant in the immediate minds of boxing fans and fighters because his position, high risk, low reward, and we don't want to put our position at stake. That's why you don't. That's why you don't see him. But like we said before, you can't run in this division. No matter how much you try to wait around, you can't really run here. You're gonna have to fight somebody. One of these people you're gonna have to face off against. Virgil might have to fight Adams if he can't get a fight with Boots or Fundora. He might have to fight it to defend his regular championship or interim title. Very well could be. So don't be wary. Because Boots may have to fight Adams after Zayas if he doesn't get his fight with Ortiz or Fundora or Josh Kelly immediately after. Josh Kelly may have to fight him as a manager. Hypothetically, again, I'm throwing out ideas. I'm not exactly sure where the rankings are. I just know he's in position that most likely somebody's going to have to force the fighter's hand into fighting against him. Because right now, he's not working. Right now, he's not working. Let me see. It's like in basketball when you have someone already beaten, then snatch back the crossover one more time for more flash to embarrass them, but they actually get a chance to steal it because of it. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like the cross is enough. And crazy enough, Kyrie Irving, one move, two move. It's quick, it's flashing, but once he hits the go, he goes. He commits to it fully. And that's why it's so good, because he doesn't give the opponent another chance to do something. Once he got you beat, he gone. Straight up, he gone. He's either pull up in your face, step back and over you, or got you jumping, now he's driving to the hoop. But don't give them the chance to do something else because, you want to look more appealing. Get it done. Because when you get it done, no matter how it looks, guess what? People going to pay attention. Got him again. Can't believe it. Tim Duncan, basic as they come. One of the greatest users of the bank shot we've ever seen. Off the block. This man would do a simple jab step, pump fake, and then pull it straight in your face. 15, 20 feet out. Same move. Or jab step, commit to the drive, and do a hook with the same hand. Or up and under. Where he'd finish with his offhand. But that would be he had three moves. He had more, but he had three go-tos. All of which, it looked like simplicity as can be. Unstoppable. Didn't matter if it was flashy. Guess what? That got him one of the 10 greatest players in NBA history. Substance is the key more than anything else. Never forget that. Substance is the key more than anything else. The flash and the aesthetics, absolutely, are phenomenal. We never disrespect them. But the substance of the move is what matters more than anything and anybody else. Because a $100 move with a 10-cent finish falls to no avail. The substance is the key. That goes to boxing as well. But let me keep on reading. Johnny Blaze, how you doing? Good to see you. We appreciate you on our live stream. And in fact, we can actually go through and go and talk through the championship rounds right here, right now. So let's actually change the title card real quick. And let's go and have your voice to be seen and heard as we got 30 minutes to an hour to talk about anything and everything regarding the sports world and beyond. Hey, it's time to work. It's time to shine. Make this show sublime with your voice and your opinions, because it's time for the championship rounds. Yes, sir. Let's get it started. Let's get it popping. Ring the bell. Let's get it going. And let's end this show off with a bang, shall we? Yes, sir. Let's get it popping. And let's read your thoughts and bits. And please, if you can, keep on supporting the show and keep on sharing with you all. Okay? Because we want to hear from you. We love you. We support you. And we love that you're joining with us on our live stream. You could have been anywhere else, but you choose to be here. So we appreciate you for it. And if you would, just please leave a like on the stream. It makes a world of difference. Tell people about the show. Share it. Text them. Tell your boss. Tell your mama, your daddy, whoever you know about what we got going on. And if you want to support the show, shameless plug, we got Cash App, PayPal, links down below. Super chats and super gifts galore. Whatever you can give, if you can give, it would mean the world to me. It helps me to pay the bills. It helps me to make this show better for you all to listen and enjoy. No question about it. And hey, I would appreciate it. But again, we're funded by you. We're made possible by you. And you all are what makes this show oh so possible. So we thank you so much just for being here and enjoying our stream. But let's see what you got to say. I got Boots knocking out. I got Boots by KO in the 8th. Hey, I got him in the 9th. I got him by round 9. I think it's going to happen by round 9. My extreme reaction, I think will knock him out by round 5. Now that sounds crazy. That sounds ridiculous. I understand. Some of y'all are saying, wait a minute now, weren't you just saying that Zaire should have the respect of the masses? This is not just going to be a cakewalk of a fight. Yes, it's not. My extreme prediction, he knocks him out in 5. And why? It's because we need to see, or I have an expectation, that Boots is able to jump his skill sets and ability well past beyond the likes of Zayas, because he should be that good. That's the expectation. People will be shocked, but they won't be surprised, because that's how we've been talking about Boots. Reality is probably going to be round 9. Extreme, if everything about Boots is real, he can get him out of there by round 5. He can. But that's if everything about Boots lives up to his utmost expectations. Which, because of who Boots is, I'm expecting it to be like that. I'm not trying to be overly dramatic or overly, oh, you got too high of a standard. If he doesn't reach it, that's fine. I'm just saying that would validate for me so many more levels above the game that I see Boots getting to. It would expedite that perspective for me immensely. I would love it. I would love it if he does. But I got it by round 9 that he knocks him out. Oh, let me see. Try to keep on reading and make sure I go through and go through it and chat with everybody. Hey, we got people coming in on the show. Let me see. He's my gateway over here. He actually responds to your chats here too. Hey man, look. Hey, we gotta have. You gotta understand. We gotta have a level of investment. We're trying to build an audience. Now, granted, just know the more we grow, I'm still gonna try to talk through a lot of the chats. But I may not be able to touch everybody. If I'm trying to touch and talk with everybody that does chat to the best of my ability. Because you understand what the way that this show is being made, or what the identity of this show is going to be. Like, I got my opinions. I got my facts. But you got to understand, like, this is an interactive thing. You all help to put input. And I may not be able to touch on everything and everybody. But I'm going to tell you this right now. I'm going to definitely take what y'all have and run with it. Because I prep, I study, I do everything I can. But again, I can only do so much. And you all, part of the reason why this thing goes 2 hours is because you all keep on bringing up good points, extra points, more points that has adding substance to the conversation. Because there's never just one way to look at a fight, and there's never just one story to delve into. And you all help to bring about things I don't even think about. So it's well worth listening to. Now, some of y'all are just belligerent. Some of y'all are crazy. But the majority, some of y'all out of pocket. But the majority of y'all, the majority here, y'all are great. And so, yeah, we want to give opportunities to piggyback, because what you all say is valuable. And it helps to make, it's what helps makes this show go. Because y'all always give me something to pop off of, to jump off of. I love doing stuff, and I can talk for 2 hours by myself, but it is so much more fun to have it to where you got people to bounce off of. And legitimately, substantive stuff, good stuff that breeds more questions and more debates. Because you don't got to agree. You can disagree. You can say, you can think I'm stupid. You can think I don't know what I'm talking about. You can vehemently think that I am wrong on any given subject or all subjects. That's great. Put it in here. We can address it, and we can talk about it. And I can give you my thought process, and then y'all can react. And it goes back and forth. That's why we do this. That's why we do this, because we want you all to feel that this is as professional as this is trying to be. Could be clear. We're trying to give you ESPN level quality, Fox level quality, NBC level quality. Because if we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this not as if, with the outlook of, we're gonna be on your television screens one day. If we're not there already, wink wink, on YouTube. But we're gonna be there. And because of that, we're gonna bring you as much of a deserved opinion, breakdown, and genuine enthusiasm, because that's what you all deserve. At the same time, we're going to have fun. We're going to laugh. We're going to debate. We're going to get mad. We're going to argue. We're going to feel every emotion and not be ashamed about it. Why? Because that's what we do. That's what we do. And we love it. And I love you all, absolutely. And I do appreciate all of you being here, man. And it really just does my heart good. And hopefully, y'all are enjoying what we got going on over here. So I appreciate it. I really do appreciate it, man. It's so much fun. Let me see. You tripping? Brandon Adams is number 2 in WBC and number 1 in the WBO. Now, hey, look, granted, I said I'm not exactly sure about the rankings. Be clear. I said I'm not exactly sure about the rankings. Just so you know, I try to give myself a buffer. So if I got the rankings wrong, I'm sorry. I am sorry. But I'm just telling you, there's a reason why his name is not being brought up, even though his position is so high up there. Because people don't want that smoke. And even though he's ranked up there, number 2, number 1, why would you want that when you could potentially be the next person to fight Boots or Ortiz or Fundora at this point in time? I would hope it happens. I hope he gets a fight with Fundora next. Be clear. I hope he gets a fight with Fundora next. If we don't get Ortiz versus Fundora outright, I would hope we get Adams versus Josh Kelly, Adams versus Fundora, or Adams versus Ortiz to take the title, the interim title from Ortiz. Whatever sect of ranking he's in, give him the opportunity for that fight. Zayas, Boots, winner of that. I think that's for the WBR. Let me make sure. Hold on. Wait a minute now. Hold on, man. Boots, Zayas, unification. Let me make sure I got the correct belts of what's on the line for what. Okay, yeah. It's Boots and Zayas for the WBA and WBO. So, Adams fights one of them as number 1 contender. He gets made. Y'all got to fight him. He's the mandatory. You got 180 days or however much it is. Schedule it. Make it happen. If you can't, again, if Ortiz is not there, and he most likely won't be there, if Fundora gets another fight in or potentially gets injured again, and you can't go for that, give him a crack. Give him a shot. Because we're still about giving people what they deserve. At least I think we are. At least I try to push that as the addendum. Let me keep on reading. Go again. It's still the championship rounds. We still want to hear from you in all walks of life and conversation regarding the boxing world and beyond. But let me keep on reading. Let me San Antonio or OKC tonight. Who you got? I'm praying San Antonio comes back. I want San Antonio to take this to a game 7. I need it to happen. I need it to happen. I hope and pray that we don't get the same level of mismatched foul calls for OKC and against San Antonio like we did last game. Got so bad Tony Butters was holding up the whistle, talking to Lou Dort. They playing physical. Like, this is not just a trend. They legit are able to play a different brand of basketball than everybody else in the league from a physicality standpoint. That just is not fair. I'm all for physicality. I'm all for you being able to be in the post and throw your weight around. Up on somebody when you're guarding them on the perimeter. Being able to maneuver them as a defensive fighter. Or as a defensive player. Guarding the ball handler. But moving screens, pulling on players with rebounds, going through and being belligerent in your own makeup of you causing the contact and then you flopping, that just ain't right. No matter what Adam Silver may say, that is not right, because that is the problem. Because you're not giving the same level of fairness in physicality that you give to OKC for the Spurs or anybody. So I want this game, I want this to go to game 7. And I want it to be, we get, I want to see the Spurs win it outright. I want to see the Spurs win it. I do not want SGA to go back to the finals or OKC as a whole. Beyond just their corny, beyond just all that stuff, I just don't want them. Good gosh, I do not want them to win. Lord, I do not want them to win. I do not want this team to get to the finals. Please, good gosh, no. My goodness. But let me keep on reading what you have to say, because we want to make sure we keep on going through. We appreciate you, Welch. I appreciate you all as well. And I'm glad that you all are indeed here. But let me see. They desperately need to bring the Super Series of boxing for 154 and 140 and 135 classes. I wish they did. Good night. I don't even look. The fact that we got it for Andre Ward and the fact that we got it for the 122 with Inouye. Why has this not become like a bi-yearly thing? Or like tri-yearly thing. Every 3 years, we get a Super Series where we crown an undisputed champion. Where the top 10, top 5, top 10 and top 5 in the division go at it in a knockout-based type of series. When it becomes undisputed or unified, wherever the world they want to put the belts on the line for, and they get its consensus, this man's the best in the world. Period. I wish it was like that. I don't know why. The division's primed to set. 154 is more than built for this. 135's got enough depth in the conversation. It could have that. 140 with Shakur, T.O., and others, like, you may not need it because Shakur is already looking like, or rather the matchups kind of already write themselves for what the next steps could be. But again, forcing them to make it happen. I wouldn't be mad at all 3 divisions. I wouldn't be mad at seeing it. I wish. But we can only dream, man. We can only dream. I wish it was better, but man, we can only dream. I've been trying to push for tournaments in several divisions for a while now. Yeah, no, I get it. I understand, because like the Super Series takes away a lot of these debates that have granted. I'm a boxing. No, I'm a not just boxing. I'm a sports commentator, or I'm trying to be. Went to college for it, television and all. Got my master's and all that stuff. I know what I'm doing. Having this type of discussion gives me content to talk about. Be clear. Hey, I'm happy for that. But for the betterment of the sport, these conversations get tiring, don't they? Do they not? I mean, for real, let's be honest. Don't these conversations get tiring? Don't they get boring? Don't they lose its luster at times? when consistently talking about who can beat who, what would be a good fight. Again, I'm not saying it's great conversation. It needs to happen. This is what makes the sport great. But at the same breath, at some point, it's like, okay, we've been talking about this for over 2 years. When is it going to happen? We've covered every point that we could. And the people don't fight but twice a year. At some point, it's like, well, I don't know how much more we can say. And it's not because I'm trying to just lament the fact that, oh my gosh, we don't have, we're running out of content. It's just straight up like the conversation itself loses some meaning. Because now it's like, well, at this point, just put up or shut up. Because what else is there to say? What else is there to say? This is not, I'm talking about like for the whole of, not just on tidbits of the sport, but like the whole of the conversation. What else is there to say at some instances? Because we just need the stuff to happen. A super series, a tournament, would fix all of those issues or problems. Because we would at least have an end date that at some point we know, hey, it's going to come down to, we can predict who we think's going to get there. But doggone it, no matter what, you're going to have the test whether you like it or not. Speculation out the window now. Who going to win? Make your picks, stick to it. And now you got to deal with the aftermath, but it's going to happen. It's going to happen. That's all I'm saying. We just need that. It brings a level of finality that a lot of times in the boxing world we don't get for the different storylines and aspects of the sport. Though we love them, it makes it feel incomplete. It makes it feel incomplete in some ways. It makes careers feel incomplete for the talking points that we can have about them later on. It goes insane. And so that's why I would hope that we have that. I really do. I really do. Also, wait a minute. Hold on. Time out. We got paid yet again. Wait a second. Hold on. Matt Borg. No, this ain't for Matt Borgson this time. This is for Joshua Wagner. $10 super chat, hey, brother. We appreciate it. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh. We appreciate the funds and the alms to the empire. We appreciate you supporting this channel and sending us all love and all the support. We salute to you and we thank you so much for your support of the channel. You didn't have to. We understand it. You didn't have to. You could have given it to anybody else, but you chose to give it to us, and we appreciate it oh so much. You are helping to keep this show on air. On the airways and helping us to invest into this show, and we thank you so much for it. And hey, I can treat myself today. I can pay some bills with this. This is going into my savings. You doggone right. Yes, sir. We putting this back. Oh, this is gonna be great. It's gonna be great. But I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Again, anybody else who's in chat or just listening, we thank you so much for being a part of our show. And hopefully you'll keep wanting to stick around as we are still in the championship rounds of this segment of the show, where it's 30 minutes to an hour to discuss anything and everything involving the world of sports and beyond. No question about it. But let me see. Yo, Welch. Let me see. In the granted, 17 is cool. Y'all should collab. I've never heard of him. Not him or her. Now, granted, I don't say that because, I'm just trying to be disrespectful. I legit have just been so honed in on my thing that I've been kind of blocking people out. But hey, it seems like Sunday, if it can work, hey, we can make something happen. And community space is all about making support and making so you can grow with other people. We can see if we can make something shake. No problem with that. No problem with that at all. Hey, tell them about me. Tell them about me. Tell them to see if we can make something work together. That sounds like it could be some fun. That sounds like it could be something really fun. But let me see. You don't think it's strange? As soon as they ordered Tank versus Schofield, Tank got a probation violation in Baltimore. Well, see, that seems like more so. Now. It is odd. It is strange. Now, he was out and about with Adrian Broner, Dean the Great, streaming over on, I think, Twitch, or Kick, excuse me. That might have been why he got that violation, because he was out and about. And maybe that's why, okay, now we got to take him in. It is problematic. I'll say that. However, I'm not going to be that type of stuff. That gets shaky. That gets very shaky. It is ironic. I can say that. It's ironic. And Lord knows we hope everything works out for the better because of the fact that we've known the drama that Tank's been in already. I can't remember this is for the same situation that's in court right now or for a different situation. Either way, sadly, it's not uncommon because at this point, this is Tank. Sadly, this is Tank. And it's just, the story continues. Will it ever end? I have no clue. But we just have to keep it along for the ride. Let me see. Foster versus Ford is a good match of this weekend. Foster by unanimous decision. I have it by unanimous decision too for the likes of Foster. And I think we're going to see Foster come out on top with another big win. People been complaining about basketball has been soft. The physicality is needed. And yes, and see, the difference is physicality is not the issue. It is the okay for physicality by the referees. It is not about being physical. We've been bigger, stronger, faster. That's what the league has been. More skilled, more well-versed, more diverse. We love that. Players want to be physical. It's just the fact that as a unit in refereeing, teams are not allowed to have the same level of playing field when it comes to using that physicality, being in the grill of your opponent. We still want player safety, but what we don't want is a pendulum swinging the complete opposite way to where it's fair for thee, but not for me. That's the problem. That's what this series with San Antonio has brought out with OKC for everybody to witness, because everybody's watching this series. Those who don't watch the NBA, they're all watching this series, and everybody's saying the same thing, casual and hardcore in the NBA verse. Brother, this ain't right. Something's not right with this. And so it's got to be changed. It really does have to be changed. No question about it. Let me see. A Thunder fan to sweep the Knicks. They are. Look. I'm with the bandwagons. I don't care if y'all can hate me. I want to see the Knicks get something done and be successful. Lord knows I would. New York would cease to exist, and the NBA would look so much different in the best way possible if that took place. But my gosh, if it's hello? Hold on. Wait a minute. Are we good? I froze. We stopped. Hello? Excuse me. Can anybody hear me? Are we okay? Wait a minute. Okay, we good. I'm sorry. I saw on my screen went out for like 10 seconds. I got scared. Oh my gosh. Okay, we're good. We're okay. We're fine. It wasn't your signal. I think it was mine. OBS all of a sudden went awry. We're back though. We're A-okay. Thank gosh. What was I saying? The Knicks. I don't think they can beat OKC. I hope they can beat OKC. I would hope they get a game against whoever they face off against. But I don't want them to win in the finals. So on everything that I know, please let the Knicks beat OKC and sweep them. If that's the matchup, I need that to happen. I can't stand this OKC squad. Again, I'm sorry. I just can't do it. Let me see. San Antonio needs to save the league. OKC are the villains of the league now. Bunch of floppers and unethical, dirty players. And the worst thing about it, and again, we're in the championship rounds. That's why we're able to talk about this. Basketball and beyond is what we can discuss, as well as boxing and everything else. The issue is, it is the problem that they don't need it to be so good. Specifically SGA. He's already averaging 30. This is what, fourth year averaging 30 points? Insane. Ridiculous. Back-to-back MVP. He is worth his talent. No question. But the comparisons to Kobe Bryant and others is where I get frustrated. Because this is a man in the likes of SGA. His ability to play does not need to have the hindrance of going for the fouls as much as he is. This man is 10% of his entire shots in this playoff run have been him falling down, not necessarily because of contact. The unusual shot selection off of somebody just grazing him. That is not what we mean when we say we want somebody that is able to be a dominant scorer. Oh, we so hard to guard. There's a difference. You can get people to jump. Sure. You can get people to bite on moves. I understand that. Being crafty and drawing fouls is an art form. Dwayne Wade was a master at it. James Harden epitomized it for what we see for today's game. When he was winning MVP, even though LeBron should have won that MVP in 2018, but when he was averaging 35 points a game, had a stint where he was averaging 40 points a game for a month, had multiple 60-point games, 53-point games, 55. He was ridiculous. But all of that was also garnered by he was manipulating the rules in the way that was being frowned upon, justifiably so. Hooking players when he was driving, forcing contact and making their hands physically hit him, not by them and their own actions, but him manipulating their body by physically moving them to get the foul. That is not okay. SGA, the same thing, but in a different vein. Falling down after the majority of his shots, causing contact when it should be an offensive foul. That's where stuff gets problematic. We know the difference. We're not dumb as basketball fans. We're not. Even Tyrese Halliburton even admitted on Pat McAfee's show. Hey, yeah, players get trained on how to flop and foul. People made the joke about how LeBron was the main cause of this. No, he was not. Be clear, he was not. He was not. People come. Jordan was doing this. Kobe was doing this, but again, every great player, yes, has gone through and pandered to the referees. That's not uncommon. But this is different. This is more inclined with the James Hardens than with the LeBrons, the Kobes, the Jordans. That's where we get problems with. It ain't just because they win it. We've been saying this before they've been winning. It's a problem. And now it's biting them in the butt because the next potential face of the league is going up against the OKC team with back-to-back titles, back-to-back MVPs, back-to-back MVPs, and back-to-back titles potentially on the horizon. And we're seeing on the biggest stage at this point in the year, everybody's saying the same thing. And you can't hide from it. And again, he doesn't need it. He can fight through contact and still score. He could do his normal shooting motion without needing to go with some strange, awkward chuck shot when he's almost parallel to the ground like he's Patrick Mahomes. He doesn't need to do that to be as dominant as he is. This goes beyond just playing and trying to use the rules to your advantage. This is hurting the game for a lot of people. They're turning off to the product. And the NBA, they see it. They recognize it. Because it's you and people out through the door. Let me see. It's ironic someone's pulling out a Kid Austin's fight instead of Kid Austin. That's a good one. I didn't think about it. With Tank. That's funny. That's funny. That's sad. That's really sad to think about Schofield always pulling out. And it's always him. But it's funny nonetheless. That's funny. Oh, shoot. Good gosh, that's hilarious. I don't want to laugh because, again, he was actually sick. But that's funny. I'm sorry. That was funny. That was really, really funny. Let me see. SJ is more like a Paul Pierce rather than Kobe Bryant. And now, granted, be clear, he's better than Paul Pierce. Okay, now hold on. Let's not get that disrespectful. Let's not get that disrespectful. He's better than Paul Pierce. He's way better than Paul Pierce. Paul Pierce is one of the best small forwards of his era. Absolutely. Dominant small forward in his time with the Boston Celtics, even before KG and Ray Allen fully got there. Because as you know, KG came from the Timberwolves. You had Ray Allen coming from the Supersonics, signed with the Celtics. Rajon Rondo, I think he got drafted. So then you got to see that whole dichotomy of Big Four show up, show out, win a title, and be one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference. However, Paul Pierce ain't better than SGA. He's not better than SGA. He's bigger. You can argue he was a great scorer. He's not better than SGA. Good gosh. And SGA, thank goodness, is not more like Paul Pierce. But the Kobe comparisons came from averaging 30, shooting 50% from the mid-range, which again is incredible, and utilizing that 22 to 15-foot area in a way that we don't see most guards doing. We see Devin Booker doing it. We see SGA doing it. DeMar DeRozan, even though he's a forward, he does it. The game is smooth. It is. Got a great turnaround. When he actually uses his up and under game and his pivot foot to get you jumping, he is very good out the post. He's a great finisher. Crafty, being able to get to the hole, Euro steps, and scoop layups. Phenomenal. As a scorer and a leader, yeah, he's great. He's everything that OKC could ask for. He's what we saw coming out of the Clippers when the Clippers had him off the bench, and he was all of a sudden every year compounding his abilities and skills, looking like more of a number 3 option, then a number 2 option. Then, ultimately, making a trade, got the reins on his own from under Kawhi, from under Paul George, and he showed up and showed out. And now we see the player that he is today, who is dynamite. I mean dynamite. He just does not. That's where the Kobe comparisons come. I can understand that. I just don't like what he's turned his game into with the skills that he has right now. That's been my problem. That's my thing. That's my thing. And so, if that changes, well, all the better. Because notice, people are picking, it's a visual thing, but people are picking up on it. They're looking at Victor Wembanyama getting pulled, getting hacked, getting cut up, getting thrown about by Isaiah Hartenstein, Alex Caruso, Lou Dort, all this stuff. They're seeing the stuff that's happening to Wemby in this same series. And he's not saying a word, not nearly as much. And he is fighting through all of that stuff. He still does complain to the refs, justifiably so he should. But I'm saying how he's handling and making his game work through contact instead of making the contact his game. That's what people are seeing as this is what we need to see. And if you're going to give all this brother calls, and he does look to you every time, Wemby should be getting even more stuff because he's actually fighting through a lot of this stuff that you're putting at him as the other team. And the refs are not giving that same level of respect to Victor Wembanyama, even though it looks like Victor is trying to he's not predicating his game off of getting fouled. Score first, be dominant first, foul second. But with SGA is completely different. And so that's the problem. Let me see. Pull up the stats side by side with Paul and SGA. Now, if you're talking, let me see. Stats, Muse. Now, Paul George or Chris Paul? That's a big distinction. I'm assuming you're talking about Paul George versus, I'm assuming you're talking about Chris Paul. Let me make sure that is correct, because we can touch on this because of the fact of, like, as the player that SGA has become, Oh, skip. I'm sorry, Paul Pierce. Paul Pierce. That's what you thinking. Not Paul George. I'm still thinking current day ball. Yeah, no, SGA versus Paul Pierce. Give me 1 second. I might actually close some tabs because we got a lot of stuff open right now. Let me see. SGA versus Paul. I'm trying to find it. It's loading. I'm pulling up the stats right now on Paul Pierce versus SGA as a player. SGA right now is averaging over his career. SGA is averaging, I think, 20. Is it 24 or is it 20? It's 24, 20. Okay, here we go. Here we go. There we go. So this season he's averaging 31, 6, a steal, 31 points, 6 assists, steal and a half, almost a block a game, shooting 55% from the field, 38% from three, and 87% from the line, which has been incredible. Regular season, incredible. Got him the MVP, even though I think women should have won it. Numbers tell the story for themselves. He's been great. This playoffs, he's been averaging 28, 8, and 2. Or 28 points, 8 assists, a steal, and shot worse from the field, from three, but better from the line. That's what he's doing. Paul Pierce, in his career, see if I can pull this up back to back. Let me see, Paul, come on now. Come on now. Come on now. There we go. Paul Pierce for his career, he averaged, and I can pull it up on screen for you all to see. He averaged 20, not 20. It wasn't 20. There we go. Paul Pierce for his career averaged 19, 5, and 7. I'm sorry, 19, 5, and 3. 44% from the field, 36% from three, 80% from the line. Now, again, with the era that he played in, 2000s, 2010 was about when he was at his absolute peak. We understand, again, 10-time All-Star, 4-time All-NBA, NBA champion, Finals MVP, and one of the 75 greatest players that we had seen. At his best, he was averaging 26 points a game, 6 rebounds, and was shooting 40% for three. And so he's been like pretty substantial, at least during his majority of his stint in Boston. He's been playing phenomenal. He's been playing incredible. And so, like, him as a player was good. It was good. I mean, shoot, I think I can actually. How do I do this? I think there's a way. No. Hold on. I ain't done this before. Let me see if I can do this right. From his third year all the way to his we'll go through his entire, after his third year, from age 23 to 35, he was averaging 22 in a steal, 22 points, 4 assists, 6 rebounds, shot about 37% from three, and a little under 45% from the field. But as one of the top 3 small forwards in the top 3 small forwards in the league, with the championship to boot in the dead ball era. So like he can play now. Don't get me wrong. SGA is different. That's the problem. SGA is, oh dang, stat music, you ain't got the, here we go. Okay, yeah. No, they don't. They should, shouldn't they? Okay, there we go. Okay, so here we go. So for SJ's career currently, he's averaging 25 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists, about a steal and a half, shooting 50% from the field, 36% from 3, and 86% from the line. So he's been a bucket nearly his entire career. And after his first year in LA, once he got to OKC, this man just kept on growing and growing and growing. And just kept on blossoming and thriving, turning into the monster that we see now. So like, no, look, brother, he's been averaging 31, 30, 32, and 31 all 4 years. Hasn't shot under 50% during this immediate prime that he's been experiencing. Like, he's a dog. He is better than Paul Pierce. That's not even a debate. That's not even a question. That's not even a question. And it's like Paul Pierce had about 3 dead seasons after. Yeah, he did. It was after Boston. Paul Pierce went. I mean, he got old. He was like, what, 36 after Boston, roughly. No, hold on. There we go. My stuff is on a delay. I don't know why. That's why I try to. That's why I'm trying to click and move like I am. But nah, Paul Pierce, at this point, SGA has reached higher peaks than Paul. Paul was never seen in this regard of top 3 player in the world. He wasn't. He was in the vicinity, top 10, but he was never. It was never this. Like we see with Jokic, SGA, Giannis, Wemby, who's the best in the land. He was never there. And this MVP season has been one of the best we've seen. And so, like, there's no comparison. He is better. He is better. But Paul Pierce was great. If he didn't have, his numbers would probably have looked better if he didn't have those dead years in Brooklyn. If he didn't have those bad years in Brooklyn after he left Boston, and then ultimately the Wizards, and retired a little bit earlier, it probably would have looked a little bit more favored on him of what he could do. Because it was him, KG, both got traded, I believe, to New York, the Nets, after their stint in Boston ended. And, you light my fire. Charlie Wilson started playing every time they walked out. Because, brother, they were washed. They were washed at that point. But I digress. Either way, SJ's been on a tear that we've seen few guards be on. He's winning awards back to back in ways that we haven't seen for an abundance of years. Like with Jordan or LeBron, or even Bill Russell back in the 60s. So, like, we respect it. He just need to play like he's been playing. And he could be better. Or rather, he could be more appealing if he didn't take that route. But he is. So, the league is going to change because of this. I guarantee you. Not David Allen. I think David Allen Greer. Adam Silver is already looking at changes in refereeing. And I guarantee you, beyond just the digital stuff, having out of bounds calls done by AI, similar to what we have with the strike zone with the ABS system in MLB right now, they're going to do an overhauling with the likes of the refs themselves on how exactly to go about mitigating what is and isn't a foul. Because the outrage is starting to reach a fever pitch. We're starting to get a return to what we had with James Harden. Starting to get a return to that, at least for the fans. And so the league hears it. They may not want to hear it, but they hear it. And because they hear it, I guarantee you, something's gonna change in the very near future. But let me keep on reading. I think, but we're almost at the end of our time, so we want to make sure that we end our show off to give you all the chance to have a last call on the world of boxing and beyond, on whatever you want to discuss and ask as we continue our conversation of the championship rounds in the boxing world. Let me see. How are you comparing SGA to Kobe? I can't put SGA above Allen Iverson. Come on, bro. No. Be clear. Be very clear. I'm not comparing their skill sets. I am pointing out that the public, media, and people that follow basketball have been putting SGA in the framework of, I see some Kobe in him due to what we see with the way that he plays, the smoothness, and the utilization of the mid-range. That's what we're saying. I'm not comparing him as a skill level player. No, Kobe's better. Kobe should have had more MVPs. Kobe is one of the 10 greatest players of all time. Or if you don't have him there, he's just outside at 11. Wherever you may have, he is an icon that will never be touched by but the very few, and SGA ain't one of them. But what we do know is the fact that this brother, we see some of the inklings of this is what made Kobe great. SGA is using some of that. He's not as good as him. Be clear. He's not as good as him. I'm not comparing the two. I'm never doing that. If it ever comes to that point, you will hear me say that outright. But I'm telling you right now, it has not come to that point. And he is not there yet. He's efficient. He's effective. He's a great leader. He's a phenomenal shooter. He can come in clutch. He's one of the most unstoppable scorers right now. Everything about that is true. But he is not Kobe. No, he's not. But he's great, regardless of which. Let me see. It's just different styles through different eras. There are now basically two shooting guards together. Yeah, exactly. Like the point guard and shooting guard is kind of, or positionless basketball. Now that's something that LeBron was able to kind of garner because he was able to play everything. And then the Rockets under Mike D'Antoni, they took it, they used it, they played positionless basketball where you had people at like 6'7", 6'8" playing the 5. Everybody could shoot, everybody could switch, everybody could play defense, except for James Harden. But you saw the makeup. Being a guard, it does not mean the same as it used to. That's not bad. Because the skill sets of players now are able to do so many other things, they can take on more responsibilities. They can do that. They can do that. They can absolutely do that. And so, him as a player right now, this is the evolution of the game. No issue there. No issue there. It's just like, there's still some things we don't like. And trust me, we ain't calling him Kobe. But we can't deny the greatness nonetheless. Let me see. I'll give SGA prime Grant Hill, at best Dirk Nowitzki. Now, Grant Hill, that's hard because he got hurt before being able to go and fully encapsulate what we thought his prime was going to be. SGA's better than Grant Hill. Even though Grant Hill was robbed of the chance to show the full potential of what, at that point in time, was an anomaly in basketball was going to be. Small forward, 6'8", that could handle the ball, move the rock. And for that time, it would have translated even better as his career had flourished if he wasn't injured. Would have been. I mean, just untouchable. Because he was ridiculous. I wish he had never gotten hurt. But because of that, I mean, it's not. He ain't. SGA better than him. Dirk. MVP. Finals MVP. Won an MVP. One of the greatest shooters we've ever seen. Went through Kobe, LeBron, and the entirety of the prime Western Conference to go and get to the finals. Nah, arguably the second best power forward outside of Tim Duncan. Excuse me, arguably the third best power forward outside of Tim Duncan and KG. I would put Karl Malone, but you know, dare I bring up he who shall not be named for various reasons. But you get what I'm saying. I'll put a pin in it. I can't say for certain. I want to say as a skillful player, SGA may be better. But again, he's only got one title, though he won MVP. He's been so dominant, absolutely. But it's different game, different era, different. I'll put a pin in it. I'll hold off. Let me get to next season. And we can talk about what SGA is as a player over the likes of Dirk. Because now you're getting into like Dirk, KG, Tim Duncan. When we talk about Allen Iverson, we talk about Dwayne Wade, we talk about those types of players, we're getting into that type of era. And he's not at that point yet. Right now. Right now. He's not there yet. But time goes on. Now we can see what may happen. Let me see. We got a couple more chats left we can go through, and then we can go and end off this show. Let me see. Dirk was a bad man. No, he was. Absolutely he was. Dirk was a menace. Dirk was a menace. It wasn't just always a stretch forward. This man was one of the smoothest operators within 22 feet that we had seen. Played over from Europe. Brought a game that was silky smooth, patented a shot that nobody have been able to replicate, and everybody tries to steal from. And still beyond that, was one of the most versatile scorers that we had in the NBA. Ever. Turn around both ways, hop jumpers from any range. He could actually attack the basket. Crazy enough, when he was in his absolute prime physically. With that blonde hair flowing in the wind. I'll tell you, he was a dog. He was a real dog. Let me see. Shea won 2 games this series, shooting 35% from the field. Shea's teammates bail him out against elite teams like the Spurs. A lot of superstars don't have the luxury of winning while shooting poorly. Yes, absolutely true. And I said this about Jason Tatum when he won the title. That was the second finals that he played bad in. When the first finals that he played bad in was against the Warriors when they lost. The team was so good that they were able to cover all sins. Great players with great teams are able to afford bad games and still be able to be successful because everybody else is able to pick up the slack. Don't forget when Jordan was not shooting great throughout the more than people want to talk about with playoff series, including finals. When he wasn't playing at the part that we normally should see him, Scottie Pippen, Steve Kerr, Horace Grant, Tony Kukoc, all were able to go and pick up the slack and either cause transition buckets, shoot when he wasn't able to get shots going, and keep the momentum alive for their team to still succeed. SJ is in that same situation. Now, Spurs are a great team. OKC is a great team. OKC is deeper. They got gifted Jared McCain from that idiot Daryl Morey, who finally got fired for all of his basketball sins that he did over the course of his years in the league. Thank gosh he's gone. They got Jared McCain. They got Mitchell. They got Alex Caruso. They got Isaiah Hartenstein, Chet Holmgren, Lou Dort, Jalen Williams coming off the bench. NSGA. Like, they got bodies for days. And the other Jalen Williams, who looks like Duke Dennis if you took the ink off of him. But like, it looks like Duke Dennis if you it looks like Duke Dennis if you put him through a printer one too many times. But still, they got depth, way more depth than the likes of the Spurs. And the Spurs are a great team right now, even though they're young. This Spurs team most likely is a year away from being everything that we think they can be with Wemby at the helm, with how they're currently built. Somebody said it best, they're potentially a year ahead of schedule. That's true. I think that's true. But this OKC squad, this is the second series where SGA has shot less than 35% or below 45% in the series. LeBron James outplayed him when they swept LA. LeBron James outplayed him in efficiency, points, rebounds, true shooting, and nearly every major stat. LeBron James was the best player in that Lakers series when OKC swept them, and it wasn't close. This is the second time the SGA has been struggling to play up to the same caliber of even his normal playoff production, as he's averaged 29 points in the playoffs. Now he's averaging, 23, 24 this series. This is not good from his framework of play. But he is still able to make up for it with other means. But the bigger story is that Alex Caruso, when I said he couldn't be able to keep it up, is keeping up his ability to play ball at this high level. Still giving you 15 to 26 points a game. McCain's giving you 15 in 5 minutes off the bench because he's all of a sudden turned to the greatest shooter that we've had in this entire playoff series. Ridiculous. I don't know where the world he got this stroke from, but this cat's pulling from the parking lot. Ridiculous. But they got interchangeable pieces. When SGA fails, guess what? The team can still thrive. They can still thrive. They're built, again, the GM, Sam Presti, is a maniac with how he was able to build this team. The future sight that this man had and still has upwards of 25 plus picks. I think over 12 of them are first round picks from now until like 2038. This man, this is BlackRock. This is Hydra. This team is the new villains of the league because they have just set themselves up so far away from everybody else behind them. But it still doesn't change the fact they need this because SGA has not been playing up to his MVP level. He hasn't for 2 series now. There's a way to guard him. Lakers cracked the code on how to guard SGA. JJ Ray did a phenomenal job. Spurs are taking that with an even better defensive unit and making SGA feel like he is in purgatory. But Caruso and everybody else is hitting buckets every single time. Every time. But this can't keep on going. Even if they win this series, this can't keep on going. Because, and I'll even capitulate, it might not end this series. But at some point, this shooting's going to stop. And if SGA ever isn't able to turn it on, and the shooting that they've been hitting stops from people that, with all due respect to Caruso and Mitchell, they have not been these types of shooters their entire career. Even on other championship teams like with Caruso in LA. They haven't been this type of knockdown, drag-out shooters that have been putting up 26 to 30 every game when SGA is struggling to get 15. They ain't been there. And if it stops, and it's going to stop, might not be this series, but it's going to stop, and SGA continues to have this much struggle, yeah, it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem. It's going to be a major problem. Promise you. It's going to be a big problem. Let me see. Talk about how to guard SGA. How to guard him. Double him. Trap him. And force some uncertainty. skip passes, never letting him just get into isolation. And like what we see with Wemby, pass it on. Trap, shuffle, pass him on to the next man. Never let him just have one person as the main saving grace of you can guard. He needs to see multiple bodies at him at all times. Because if he gets one-on-one, he's too crafty that he will get you in foul trouble, and he's too good that he'll be able to score on you if you just leave him on an island. Double and recover or trap and pass has been what's been working. It has. It's crazy enough it's been effective. It is for 2 series. Again, there's more nuance to that. So just switching on the off-ball sentiments, where the center should be and all that stuff. It's a lot more nuance than that, absolutely. There's others that have been able to break it down better. But the basis of it is SGA has never felt comfortable because there's always 2 bodies in front of him in some way, shape, or form. If he gets the ball up high, guess what? The guard and the center, they playing high. And they're either trapping him or they'll hedge to make it so that you always feel something's there. Especially Wembanyama in the paint. People don't even want to go to the paint nearly as much. So he's got to look for the outside shots. Passes to the corner. Handoffs is somebody who's able to come around to get SGA free. It's there. The blueprint's there. It's been there for now over 8 games because of these 2 combined series. The personnel is also what makes it even better, though. And Spurs, they got the personnel defensively. It's just offensively, they just can't seem to keep the same hot streaks as much as we see with OKC and their role players or secondary stars. That's the struggle. And even with the secondary stars, Chet's been rendered obsolete. Chet's been playing like a bum. Chet's been playing like a scrub. He's been outworked, outwalked, dog-walked because Wemby has been able to overshadow him in every way. He's literally just accepted defeat. But it's been the others that has been kept on stepping up. If the Spurs can have that while they're still giving SGA multiple bodies, like they did when they did win these games, like game 1, game 3. They can take this game to 7 and win. Absolutely. Let me see. SGA can't stop Jalen Brunson, though. I don't think he can. But I don't. It's not Brunson I'm concerned about. Even though he did have 15 points in their closeout win against Cleveland. That wasn't really that great. But the team won regardless, and he was leading that squad for the whole of this series. But I'm not worried about Brunson. I'm worried about the Knicks matching up with the depth of OKC more than anything. As again, we're going to end off this show because we got to get out of here. Because we ain't going 3 hours like we did last time. Unless y'all want to, some dineros our way. We got a schedule. And we got to make sure we can prep for tomorrow. But I'll end the show off with this. Talk about the NBA. SGA, with this OKC squad, above everything else, is deeper than the ocean. The Knicks, they can run for 48 minutes. Still the ghost of Tom Thibodeau, as one of my friends said, the ghost of Tom Thibodeau still reeks about that arena. However, the difference is their depth is not nearly the same. They got McBride. They can come off the bench. But they running about 7 deep. Maybe 8. It ain't as flushed out as we can pick and place anybody anywhere and be able to do what we need to do. Spurs got more depth than what we see with the Knicks. That's not an indictment. I'm saying that is a problem. Going up against a team that, well, if one piece doesn't work, we got another one. Everybody has to work with the Knicks. Everybody. Everybody has to be able to be on not just one accord. They got to be able to never have a bad game. They can't. They can't. Because I don't think they have the defensive ability to overcome the same stuff that we see Wemby be able to overcome. That's where I'm concerned. Because if it's going to have to be a rat race, tit for tat, score for score, transition for every stoppage bucket. Excuse me, transition bucket for every stoppage you can get. All that's going to have to happen. But even more so, you're going to have to be able to say our 7 or 8 that we running, or our 6 to 7 that we running consistently. We cannot fail at all because we don't have the luxury to not show up individually when it comes to putting points on the board. Defensively, we got a game plan. We can do that. But putting points on the board, we cannot fail at that. And if Brunson's the only buddy to carry this load, this is the opposite of Cleveland. I said with Cleveland, if Brunson can play up to Donovan Mitchell's offensive level that he elevates to every time in the playoffs, they good. And lo and behold, they sweat. But this time, it's not on Brunson. It's on everybody else. Because Brunson can play up to the level of SGA. Can we see Cat outplay the likes of Jalen Williams or Chet Holmgren, render him obsolete? Can we see Josh Hart be a bigger X factor than Jalen Williams or Lou Dort? Or nullify the impact of a Jared McCain? Can we see OG Anunoby be the same firecracker that Alex Caruso is right now? Can we see that? And if so, the impossible may be possible. But if not, it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be very, very hard. But look, we gotta end this show and we gotta get out of here. Brunson doesn't gotta score 30 for the Knicks to win. SGA gotta drop 20 plus to win. I'm not mad at that sentiment. I'm not mad at that. But again, that series is gonna be for the Knicks specifically. We've seen the others for OKC show up. Now you have to do the same because Brunson we don't got to worry about. Cat we don't got to worry about. OG to some degree we don't have to worry about, though he's been hot and cold at times. It's the Mitchell Robinsons, timely rebounds, buckets and blocks, being a live threat consistently, making your free throws because you're going to get fouled, stuff like that. The others, if they show up, the impossible can be impossible. But we'll have to see how it goes. And if the OKC even gets there, because they play the Spurs in game 6 tonight at 8 o'clock, 8:30 just about. I can't wait to see it with you all, and I can't wait to talk about it with you all tomorrow afternoon. But we have to end this show and get out of here and have our chance to go and relax just for a little up until tomorrow afternoon. So with all of that being said, ladies and gentlemen, this has been another episode of The Worshipful with me, your host, Jean-Luc Welch. We thank you so much for tuning in and listening to our show today. You all have been incredible. You all are phenomenal. And you all were stupendous as a show audience. We appreciate all the chats, all the responses, all the love and support, and all of the interaction that you gave to our stream today. It means the world to me, and we love it oh so much. And we're going to be back tomorrow afternoon for more topics of conversation in the sports world regarding boxing and beyond. You don't want to miss it, absolutely. We thank you to Matt Borgeson and to Justin Wagner for coming in and chatting and supporting the show monetarily, and everybody else who came in and was on stream and talking and participating in the chat. We applaud you all, and we appreciate you oh so much for tuning in and helping make this show oh so much better and oh so exciting for everybody to listen and enjoy. But look, we're gonna be back with you all tomorrow, same time, same place, same channel. If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Go ahead and be a part of the empire. Come join the hottest show on all the globe and subscribe to our channel. Be sure to rate us 5 stars wherever you listen to podcasts, Apple, Spotify, you name it, we're there. And if we're not, tell us, we'll get there. Absolutely. Leave a like on the video. 1 like makes a world of difference on our stream, being able to reach the masses across the globe. Be sure to do the 2 most important things, which is if you can support support the channel, we got Cash App, PayPal, links down below in the description, super chat, super gift stickers, and the likes. If you can afford to support the show, it would mean the world to me, helps me to pay the bills, and helps us to go and edify this show even more and invest into it to make it bigger, better, and stronger, all for your viewing and listening pleasure. And the other most important thing is to go through and share the show with everybody that you know so we can keep on building up this empire together, all with you and your support, making it happen and making it do what it do. We thank you all so much. Top 5 chatters for today's episode. Most active was number 5, was number 1, Legendary Super Saiyan Jackson. Number 2 was Peel Out. Number 3 was Joachim Wagner. Number 4 was, if it comes across the string, Beach Skull. And number 5, pound for pound, most active chatters for today's show was indeed Matt Borgenson. Congratulations to you all, and I believe in the all-around pound for pound rankings, monetarily and with chats in mind. I believe it is number 1. Is it Matt? No, Joachim Wagner. That's what it is. Number 1 all around is actually Joachim Wagner. That's the true pound for pound. Number 1 is Joachim Wagner. And number 2 is, they can pull it up, Matt Borgenson. See, that's what I thought. I knew it because that takes into account the money sent as well as the chats that you give to the show. So y'all number 1 and number 2 for the top chatters outright for the show today. But look, I've been Jean-Luc Welch. You all have been absolutely wonderful. Be safe, be blessed, peace and love. Oh, we are out here. Yes, sir. Salute to you. We're going to see you all next time. Have a wonderful afternoon. Have a wonderful day. Be safe and be blessed. And we are out of here.